Looking forward to this early game. This should be a fun early game. Lucian Braum is going to have a lot of nonsense that they can get down with those stuns, the double shot passive, and fun stuff. This is going to be something to see going into this game. Looks like we're getting a classic top lane start from both of these junglers. Kind of waiting to see what they decide to do with that. It could be something. Oh, okay, so AJ is doing the thing, the Yasuo thing. We started E. And we're probably just going to abuse. And Inori B here in the bottom lane on the Yunara with Phantom Star as their support. I'm just going to say, I'm just gonna go ahead and brag just a smidgen of a bit, as I've casted Inori B before. So I have high expectations coming into this game, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
And what I really like here about this, even though they've taken a lot of extra poke here, more than I expected them to, is I think Lucian actually has a little bit of advantage, at least with Soraka's deal being down. But the problem is, if you're playing Soraka right, and I think so far Phantom Star definitely is, look at that aggression. Soraka is absolutely bullying this Lucian, and this is exactly what you want to do. If you're playing a passive Soraka, you're doing it wrong, and Phantom Star is not doing that whatsoever. Despite the flash being down, Soraka is being an absolute lane, but bully Edo June. No! I thought Yasuo was going to go in and get a kill, but Shinobu turned it around, was able to knock him out, but that shows how hard it is to dash into a Talia right there. That's a perfect example.
Okay, I think it was a little bit of disrespect, too, from AJ there. Just not really respecting the fact that Talia might have the Unraveled Earth and just ends up getting stunned on the dash back. English is hard today, but on the dash back, ends up giving over first blood, and my, you're feeling pretty good about that if you are Shinobu right now. Got a little bit of extra gold to make that matchup a little bit better. Yeah, just went back for the tier. Probably not going to TP back the way he's pushing it away from them. Oh, never mind, they're going to TP, so I take it back. But here in the bottom lane, yeah, the health bars are just so much in favor of the side of Galaxy Gaming right now. Inori B and Phantom Star keeping up that pressure. And not surprising, it is a double range matchup, as Zakfair took a lot of damage there. Wow, getting a little low. But don't think AJ will allow that to happen again. Yep, just gonna go ahead and abuse Shinobu. Do the thing, Yasuo thing, just dash out. Once the Unraveled Earth is down once again, just gonna probably full send it once the next wave hits. Now we do have both junglers on this side of the map. Oh, did they spot the ward there? They did, so they might know he's recalling there, so did just end up walking out, and they will respect that, and never mind, they're not respecting it, I take it back. But right now, not too much going on. Scuttle Crabs are doing their thing. Oh my lord.
Phantom
so
Star
low.
almost getting Zakfair there. Just one more, maybe AA away.
No.
Yunara does try to go for it. Look at it. That's like one Ladybug's worth of HP left. Just barely skating out of that for sure. Shinobu, once again, showing how hard it is to pull into it, but changing their mind. Krakadon goes in, followed by the jungle there on the other side. Shinobu's got to watch out for the Zac. Yasuo has to back off, watch out for a whole bunch of damage, but it looks like Pantheon here's no! Yasuo able to get a pretty nice tornado directly into the face of Talia, taking them out. Shinobu really struggling there in that engagement. Zac came in just in time. Of course, Pantheon tried to follow it up and almost did, but that last little kill really made a big difference, I feel.
Indeed it did. So AJ there with the kill now is up CS. The gold lead is about 1,000 right now in favor of Galaxy Gaming. I mean, this bottom lane's also been abused. They're down double CS right now. Well, they're catching up a little bit. But this bot lane has been absolutely abused so far. And Nori B and Phantom Star keeping up this pressure. Okay, I was like, we're not going to do this, are we? But never mind. That is a Pantheon on the other side. For whatever reason, I thought that was Krakadon. And I'm like, why are we doing this? Why are we thinking about diving this? But no worries. But it looks like we're getting a little bit of an engage here. The Soraka is here, so Zakfair might be in danger.
Zakfair taking a whole bunch of damage, but Yunara is also taking a good chunk as well. Braum maybe not positioning as well as he could. Constantly getting bullied here by this Soraka. Phantom Star really setting the tempo. There's a flash backwards by Lucian. Lucian going down. Inari B doing a lot of work. Just like you said, Inari B is going to be a player to watch. They turned a disadvantage. They turned being down a flash on Soraka into an advantage there on their side. Shinobu getting dove once again by Zac. Zac going in on Shinobu. Shinobu down to about half HP. Pulls him back in. He thought he was out, but that was not the case as Ajay goes in once again, getting another kill. He's 2-1 on Yasuo. He's not going for the 11 death power spike. He might be going for the 11 kills.
Indeed, the 11 kills is now 2,000 gold in favor of Galaxy Gaming. We're 6 minutes into the game. That's the Rumble Ultimate being done and the Flash being burned by Kermit as well. Respecting that, just will opt out of that play. I do think Arbrio probably would have killed Kermit, if I'm being honest, but should be close to level 6, so that Dominus will be available shortly. Looks like we're getting a lot of movement around the map. Oh, Arbrio staying here. You know what? I respect it. That's pretty Chad. So we do have the first Drake on the map. It is a Mountain Drake. We have Grubs in about a little more than a minute and a half's time. Does Brett spot Krakadon here? In fact, yes, they do. But we do have the Pantheon resetting. Not too much that really can be done right now. Pantheon's going to be trying to get towards some of those items and farming a little bit, because it looks like, and based on what I'm seeing right now, there's really not much prio anywhere on the map. Yep, there's my homie's level 6 here. Ah, oh, that was close. Okay, so took a tower shot there. Little awkward, but it's okay. Nori B and Phantom Star here in the bottom lane, letting this push in. I do imagine we should rotate over to the Drake. It looks like that is exactly what they are going to do. Arbrio, again, still just absolutely harassing this Renekton. Kind of unlucky because this dude just keeps getting burnt down, and Arbrio's just like, yeah, all right, just try walking into me. Now, how close are we to, I don't know how close we are to level 6 on Pantheon yet, but I imagine if Krakadon is 6, we should be close. So that first Grand Starfall should be available momentarily. With the way mid is going and how far up AJ is right now is, oh, hold on. Are we getting a little something cheeky here? No, we're not getting anything cheeky, so just go ahead, back off, get the Drake. Now, does Pantheon hit 6 and immediately go mid? That is the question of the century.
I do like what Galaxy is doing right here. They saw that they have their early advantage. They have their prio bottom. They turn it into objectives because, once again, League of Legends is an objective-based game. Not really so much on the kills. Not that they can't be usable, but you need to use the kills to get the objectives. And so far, they've been doing it. And Yasuo having a lot of pressure, having those kills, basically means that Talia is really going to have a hard time roaming. And so Shinobi hasn't been able to utilize their mobility quite as much as maybe they would like to as far as getting objectives. We are getting a rumble in the jungle in between Pantheon and Zach. There's Yasuo there to follow it up. Maybe a little bit of mistake there on Pantheon's in, knowing that the Yasuo is right there. Yasuo going there. Yasuo taking down the Pantheon now. He is 3-1, getting ever so closer to his 11 kill power spike this time around. And Inari B's continuing to trade under tower, doing a good chunk of damage. Braum has blown his shield, but it looks like Inari B's got to watch out, actually getting stunned there, followed into a Yasuo. But Soraka silences it just in time, absorbing a whole bunch of damage, getting rid of some of those small mistakes, and this bot lane is starting to dominate just like mid lane.
Yeah, things are... Oh, that's a Pantheon on the top of our face.
Pantheon going in on the Rumble, trying to help out Kermit 46, but Kermit 46 still goes down. No matter what, Pantheon and Shinobu are trying to skank, are trying to get this Rumble, but Arbrio is not making it easy. They do finally go down, but still, Rumble was able to get a kill off of that Renekton, and that's not too surprising. Look at the CS. It's 55-76. Rumble's really been a bully in lane.
Gonna casually point out that the fact that ended up being a 1-for-1 trade at the end of that is disgusting. However, that is a 20 CS lead. I believe he's up a level as well on the Rumble, but the Void Grubs were taken at the same time. I think Krakadon looked up there and said, yeah, you're fine after he got the kill. It's like, you'll be alright, and then ends up dying anyways, but it doesn't matter because we have half of the Leandries ready to go. We have Merc Treads instead of a major item component on the Kermit, but that's not surprising. You're trying to go for survivability in this lane because it is rough, and we're lane swapping for whatever reason. Alright, I don't know why we're lane swapping, but you know what? I respect it anyways. Maybe it's an easier matchup for the Yasuo. Can also bully the crap out of this Renekton as well. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Nope, no lane's coming back. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now. My whole lane point is loose.
Pantheon did rotate, but I really don't think he wants to fight. Soraka still has almost all of their HP. Phantom Star's in a great position for them in order to fight that. Now, Inari B is going for a good chunk of these plates. Zach did rotate. He's waiting for some sort of spot to go in, looking for an angle still, and Inari B is still trading really heavily into this Lucian. You don't see Lucian getting bullied this early on normally, but Inari B is really doing it, really cooking it up here in bot lane.
Really interesting too. So a lot of damage. Oh god, they're making a 4-man play here. They spot the Yasuo, so they're gonna back off. But without a doubt, this should be first tower going through for the side of Galaxy Gaming. Oh nope, they're going for wards first. They're gonna clear the wave and then get first tower. So that's gonna open up the goal even more. Oh I just want to casually point out that it is almost a 5,000 gold lead in 11 minutes. So if anyone's paying attention to that, yeah, that's awesome. But they do save the tower. There was the Pizza Warfare that went over earlier, so getting this... Okay, Inori. All right, Inori.
Oh, no. Lucian tries to follow it up, but Soraka's still here and still has plenty of feelings, plenty on her HP. There's going to be a TP there on tower, but I think it's only going to be an Uber Eats for gold, because there goes Shinobu there in the background, and Yasuo has already rotated, flashing in order to avoid the dash up, and now Shinobu's getting targeted and getting destroyed, and that's going to be 3 kills in bottom. It's 2-10 at 11 minutes.
Yeah, it is a 7,000 gold lead as well. Okay. Okay. I know, we kind of anticipated this, to be fair. We kind of anticipated it being this way. Mostly because of the way the seeding worked and ended up, you know, Galaxy Gaming also being one of the more hyped rosters coming into the open qualifiers. So with that in mind, I mean, we kind of expected this going into this game. It's 7,000 gold lead at 12 minutes. There's not too much else really that we can say. It's just... Oh, there's a Pantheon. Oh, there is a lot we can say.
Oh, there we go. Pantheon going in, trying to lock down Krakodon. The Krakodon follows it just in fine. Brat getting isolated and destroyed, and that looks like that's already going to be a 3 kills. Okay. That's 3 in top, triple in top, and a triple and bottom. And really, there's just nothing they can do at this point, even with how close they were to tower. And one thing I really want to note is that every single place that Pantheon has been, Zach has been there ready and waiting every single time like a mirror.
Don't think he gets out of this. Oh, did spot the Talia, so Shinobu might be in danger here. Does miss the flick. Does not have smite, actually, so we'll take this away. And from there, the dragon is up. Maybe they start rotating down that way for it. Maybe they'll, you know, keep more... Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Kermit 46 taking Soraka bait, running directly into this. That's exactly what Soraka wanted. However, we are finally getting a little bit of number advantage here on Butterfly Mansion's side. If they're going to win it now, it's going to be the chance. But it looks like we're getting an REB 1v2ing there on the other side. They now have a double kill going for the triple kill. Pantheon trying to get away, trying away from Arbor, but it's not going to get it. They are indeed going to go down as Krakodon tries to go for Shinobu, but Shinobu is just barely able to dodge, and that's another 3 kills for Galaxy Gaming.
So, call an ambulance enough for me, but Zach Fair is just dead. Yep, alright, goodbye. So, that was the Soraka bait of the century that we just witnessed. I've never seen that in my life. Phantom Star completely baited the whole team in, and meanwhile, AJ gets a kill on the other side of the map. Again, this was expected. 2-17, it's barely turning 14 minutes now. All outer towers are basically gone. Wait, am I lying or is mid tower still up? Okay, never mind. So, all outers will basically be gone here in a moment. It looks like we are not being fearless at all towards this Redactin, but that makes sense. And Nori B is on almost 2 items right now. Wait, Kraken Slayer first.
7-0.
It's kind of up in the air of like what you could do first on Yunara. I've seen Tailwind first, into Kraken Slayer second. I've seen Kraken Slayer into Rapid Fire Cannon, or I guess Runans is the other one. It's kind of one of those things where you can kind of build whatever you want on her as long as she's just ramping up attack speed. So it's kind of like how old Jinx used to be, where you build a lot of attack speed first. But from there, I mean... It's a 12,000 gold lead. Maybe we'll get the fabled 20,000 gold lead that Caedrel's always looking for. But it's only 14 minutes into this game. We're about to crest over into the 15-minute mark. It's an 11.8 thousand gold lead. The game's basically still just getting started as we're just barely cresting over into the mid-game. But there's going to be a lot that Butterfly Mansion's going to have to do to catch back up as another tower is falling in the middle lane. And we're frontlining as a Soraka right now. Okay, that's what's happening.
Soraka has plenty of support there with Yasuo and Zach, and they're going to turn from Predator play, going for the Braum. Braum getting targeted and absolutely getting decimated. Zach Fair not faring quite well on his side. Pantheon going in, getting knocked up there by the Yasuo, but Yasuo is now isolated, might get taken out. Okay, here comes Kraken going in. Phantom Star here for the heal, trying to keep everyone up, and indeed is doing so. Yasuo finally goes down. Lucian getting a shutdown. Lucian trying to turn this around, doing everything they can. Is this the comeback? It looks like it's going to be. There's another shutdown after shutdown. Everybody's ignoring Zach Fair. Zach Fair here to mop up everyone, and that's another shutdown for the ADC on Zach Fair. Are we witnessing the underdogs turn it around? I think that is indeed the case.
I think you're being too hopeful. I think they decided to for fun game there a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. They gave over a lot of gold, yes. 1,000 gold shutdown. That was the Yunara, or Honori B had that. I believe AJ also had a shutdown as well. Krakadon also had a shutdown. If Rumble was there, I'm not going to lie, that would have been a wipe. I think they were kind of just for funning at that moment, knowing that they were so far ahead that they could kind of just do that. But it looks like that Arbrio will go ahead and just walk away from the situation, which makes sense. The Rift Herald is going to be started, but I do believe that Galaxy Gaming should be back here in time for this. Oh, wait. They're doing something here. What are we doing? What do we do? Oh, I guess they're aware he's there. But I didn't think that they would start the Rift Herald. The death timers are not long. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. AJ, are we good? We good? We good? We good? No? Okay. Well, there's the Rumble
maybe
Ultimate that I talked about.
RO3 going in, absolutely melting everyone. Lucian going down. All that gold didn't mean anything once he got taken down and nuked by the Rumble. Rumble going for their own kill. Nari B also doing the same thing there on their side, getting one kill. Double kill for Rumble, trying to go for the Shinobi. Shinobi's going down, and that's 2 double kills in a row. That's a quadra unofficial there on that side. Now they just walk into base, destroying the T3.
Do we just end the... No, we don't... That timer's not long enough. Do we just break open the tower here? I would think so. I don't think we're going to do anything else off of that. So they should break open this tower, if anything. Maybe go back after... Not like go back, but back off. Oh, they're going for the inhibitor.
Oh, they're going for the inhib. All right.
Well, normally I don't care for this type of thing, but with how far ahead they are, I think it's fine at the moment. So, are they going for the end? Are they insane enough to go for the end? Wait, they might actually go for the end. Rumble ult is not up yet. Oh, they're going.
There it is. Krakadon going in, getting a knock up there on Pantheon, get on 2. So many people going down. Lucian trying to follow it up with damage of his own. 1 goes down on the other side. That's a 2-for-1 for Galaxy Gaming. Galaxy Gaming still ahead of this fight. And the fountain turrets are finally going down. Only 1 left so far there on that end. Soraka is out of healing there, as it looks like Yasuo does get grabbed, but so does the Lucian. This could still go either way, but I think it's definitely in Galaxy Gaming's side. They do have to back off, though, keeping the Soraka blocked there. Zach Krakadon doing the good guy plays, trying to keep his support alive because the support has been keeping them alive.
Yeah, they really wanted to go for the sub 20-minute win there. And I get it. You're so far ahead. But I think if they had their ultimates available, then that would have been a complete wipe, and then the game would have been over. But unfortunately, not having those cooldowns means that the game continues onward. So they back off. They got 1 Nexus Tower, I believe. They got the top inhibitor at the end of that. Rift Herald is still available if they want to go for that. I should suspect, rather, that Phantom Star will back, hit some wards here, and then just run it back onto the map, and they should just take the Rift Herald. Okay. We're going to go over-under on this. What are the odds that they want to go for Dancing Shelly to end this game?
I mean, I'm going to say pretty high. They've already, like you said before, did sort of like a Mimi attack. May as well double down on it. They tried to go for a Mimi engage. They tried to go for a early sub 20-minute win. So I think Dancing Shelly is definitely on the tables. So I'm hoping to see that.
Okay.
And I think they have the potential there to end it.
They do have all of their abilities available. Now, do we decide to full send it here? That's the real question. We do have supers pushing top, so they don't need to push top. They can get a mid wave right here. Renekton is on the other side of the map, splitting at the moment. So I think that they're very confident with how far ahead that they are to make this type of call, because they don't need to go stop Renekton. Renekton needs to answer this, because I would imagine that we're going to drop the Herald here if they break mid inhib. Use that to crash that into the last Nexus Tower, or we're going to Talia wall them off. Okay, that actually made... Oh my lord, that wind wall. I forgot about that completely. Okay.
I had no idea that that's how that worked. That is super funny. I didn't think anything could stop Talia's wall, but it looks like the wind wall was able to do it. Apparently in this universe, wind beats rock, which seems a little silly there on my end. Anari B trying to do a whole bunch. Shelly doing a little bit of drifting, doing a little bit of shenanigans, trying to keep it alive. That tower is still up, but I think they can do a tower dive, and indeed, that looks like it's going to be the case. There's so much gold there on their side. A double kill there on Zaxxon, and that's an ace, and this is the game. We might actually be able to get a Dancing Shelly, just barely. No, it's just off the screen, just unfortunately. Either way, the first point is going to go to Galaxy Gaming. There's nothing Butterfly Mansion can do to turn this one around.
Yeah, not shocked. I mean, it's just the way it worked with the seeding. So with that, I mean, 31 wasn't the Fable 20k gold lead. It was almost 16.1k. That was the gold lead. I gotta give him credit for that one. That was pretty cool. It was pretty gnarly, and I have to say though, I don't think this game really shows us what they can do. To be fair, there was a pretty big rank discrepancy among some of these players. So with that in mind, and then winning this game, is this best of 3? Am I insane, or is it best of 1 right now?
I'm pretty sure this is best of 3 double elimination from the material I was reading, but yeah, I've been wrong on stream before. Okay, yeah, so best of 3. So we shout out a game coming up that gives Butterfly Mansion another chance to do it, and I don't think it's impossible, but I think it's pretty uphill, and that indeed did show it. I think one of the big issues they did is they went for a more aggressive comp, but I feel like maybe if they went for a turn comp, that would have been a little better. Maybe go for safe picks or really double down on someone. But either way, Galaxy Gaming was just on top of everything. I believe we need a couple of minutes. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you. Yeah, I was just agreeing with you that it's gonna be really hard, I think, for Butterfly to kind of bounce back, but it's going to be something. So I think what the game. They are 13 in the seeding, so theoretically this should be a wee bit of a harder match for Galaxy Gaming. So I think this is the one we'll have to dive into a lot more analytically if you catch my drift. So from there, same as game 1 of the previous, Milk Esports will this side. Milk Esports on the blue side, and we'll have Galaxy Gaming on the red side. So going for that counter pick, probably in support again. I mean, if they really wanted to. We didn't get to view the previous game because they decided to start draft before we could get into client. So there's that. But they ended up winning that game. It looked like it was another quick one, I think 19, 20 minutes or something like that. So they kind of flew through that one, but that was as expected. So now we're getting into the nitty gritty. Round 2 of the NACL Open qualifiers. And we're looking forward to seeing what they could do for this. Now, I'm expecting different bands. For obvious reasons, this will be different bands. Milk Esports being a higher seeded team, meaning that they have a lot more higher elo players on their team. Interesting to see what's going to go on in this game, as we're going to go ahead and get started into the draft here very shortly. Looking forward to seeing what they got in mind, as we're going to go ahead and get started with picks and bands.
Oh, and apparently it's accelerated already to 4 bands. We've got Varus, Yone, Azir, and Sion.
Okay. Nothing too out of the ordinary. The Azir band's not surprising, actually, if I'm being completely honest. Azir is one of those champions you kind of don't want to leave open if the enemy mid laner is good on them. Wukong being taken off the table as well. The final ban, I imagine, probably another strong pick that's in the meta right now. But all 6 of these, I'll say 5 because it'll be 6 in just a second. But all 6 of these champions are taken off the table, are played all the time in Tier 1. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they first pick here. The Varus ban implies to me we might be either first picking Yunara, Jhin, or at least not first picking, but going... Oh, well, okay.
Yep, there it is. Immediately Yunara.
I hate it when I'm right, so there's that. If it's anything like the previous and what we've pretty much seen, the entirety of the time she's been out, it'll be an enchanter, most likely paired with her. Now, for me, this is just me personally. When it comes to Yunara and playing into her, I prefer picking things that have range or can outduel her, which I think Kai'Sa is a very good option. We saw what Inori B could do on the Yunara in the previous game, so is aware of that matchup. Played Ezreal in the previous game, so that's another option if they wanted to fall back on that later into this run if they wanted to. But seeing a completely new champion on the Kai'Sa, Inori B on the Kai'Sa, this is going to be a lot of fun to see. From here, we probably get a jungler or a support to go alongside it, maybe even a top lane pick, but blind this early would be kind of weird, but I respect it at the same time. Yeah, Nico, unsurprising, so we get the full scope of the bottom lane. So, all right, Korek. Let's dial it. Let's dial it a little bit. Let's pick up the phone. Let's start dialing it a little bit, okay? We're gonna start dialing in for this. So, what are you expecting coming into the second series in particular?
Well, for starters, I expect it to be a lot more blow for blow. Like we said before, a more even match there for it. I think we're going to see a lot higher skill proficiency. I'm excited to see the difference between Milk's ADC playing Yanara and the difference between Kaisa. I'm also hoping that we're going to get a Nautilus jungle from one of the sides because I think it could probably square out a lot of things, and it's been very, very powerful. And because of the AoE from Nautilus, it's been weirdly powerful too.
Oh yeah, you're 100% right about that. Nautilus jungle is one of those things that I will tend to forget about because it just completely came out of nowhere when they buffed his damage to neutral monsters. And I think it happened last week in Risen, as a matter of fact. I was doing Dominant there, and we were all going through this whole thing. It's like, oh yeah, Nautilus, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just, most likely a really strong power pick of the support role. And then all of a sudden, my co-caster was like, pause. What if jungle? And then it happened, and it was a lot of fun to see. And it actually stopped that game. But the Jax is going to round out the first half of this draft. Now, contrary to popular belief, yes, this is a Jax top. We've seen it jungle a little bit, not much, but a little bit. But with Gwen being picked open, the counter pick of the Jax makes so much sense. That's pretty classic. Usually you see Jax banned prior before picking Gwen, but they opt into this matchup, mostly I assume out of confidence. So it's going to be up to the work of this Jax to make sure that this Gwen does not get out of control. In terms of support bans, the Alistar makes a lot of sense. Rel is going to still be available if they... if Milk Esports wants to go for it. Xin Zhao is going to be taken off the table. I assume we'll see Vi or Maokai banned as well on the other side. But in terms of support bans, the only other one I can think of will go for... Oh, never mind. Okay, I guess we're going to go Trundle instead.
Trundle ban.
Everything I said is mute, which implies to me that maybe we're looking towards a Galio in the mid lane, I wonder, if we're banning...
My only problem with Galio is the damage, right? I get the idea of trying to lock down and deal with Aurora, because Aurora is one of those ones to where it's like, you can't ignore her. She's a lot like Azir. You can't ignore her. You can't let her get farmed up. You can't let her get kills because she's so powerful. If she finds that right angle, she just nukes someone before the fight even begins. And I think if you've got a higher sort of skill competency, I think Aurora's a really good pick for that. So I think they need to watch out for that there on their side, on their end. And so the bans kind of make sense for that. You don't want to give Aurora like too much of a front line to deal with, because if they are able to get the Aurora out, or if Aurora is able to just sort of like have a lot of time to position an angle, it can be hard to deal with that. So I like the Trundle and I like the Alistar there for that.
So what do we pick here for Galaxy? I feel like we're setting up for a mid lane pick right now, because we know we're going against the Aurora. The only few things I can think of, Victor's open. Aurora is obviously pretty okay into that matchup. I think Orianna is another one. Okay, I'm actually was not expecting that. Are we gearing up for a Nocturne angle? Or are we gearing up for a Nocturne angle? Okay, so there is a universe where Nocturne is possible. Granted, Milk Esports can pick it if they wanted to as well. Aurora Nocturne is also another disgusting combo. So I'm really curious to see where this could possibly go. We don't have our support yet. We see it's a Nico. Rel is available. I'm going to throw a curveball. Even Thresh is an option. But, I mean, again, we typically see enchanters with Yanara. Jarvan being picked makes a lot of sense. Keep people trapped into the Aurora ultimate, or even the Yanara splash damage as well. Really curious.
And keeping people off of Aurora, too, with Cataclysm, for sure, yeah.
That's also true. That's also very, very true. But I'm wrapping my head around what this last pick should be. I don't know if we're going to go Enchanter. I mean, a double range matchup in the bottom lane would make a lot of sense, as we're going with the Rakan. Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense too, especially like you said, the Cataclysm from the Jarvan, so that setup is there. So lots of setup on the side of Milky Esports and Galaxy Gaming now. We don't really have much of a front line right now, so I'm really curious what the game plan here is. Maybe Skarner is like the last like frontliney option that they'll go for.
Sejuani might be an option. They don't pair amazingly with Orianna, but they still pair with Orianna. Looks like it is indeed going to be Nocturne, so it's telegraphed. I really like the Rakan pick and the Aurora pick from Milk Esports, right? I think they're confident in their ability, they're confident in their skill, and their competency in that. So they picked a lot of these champions that require those specific elements. And Rakan can really do a lot. I cast a game that was, I think, in the GM level, where this Rakan was just constantly in everyone's face all the time, despite being up against a Nautilus, and he just didn't care, and he got his team super far fed. So I'm really hoping to see that, especially for me as a support player. I love to see good Rakans because I'm not great at them. I'm diamond at best and not on Rakan. So I'm really rooting for the Rakan there on this one. I don't know how I feel about the Nico in lane. I do like the Nico for ganks and for fights, but I don't know how I feel about Nico into Yanara and Rakan. Maybe they're going for a lot of the early poke on Yanara. Maybe that's something they've calculated there on that end.
That is something I would consider. Yeah, I think the going into that double range matchup, I mean, you could argue Rakan is sort of range, because autos are weird. But yeah, getting that poke out onto the Yanara, I think, is going to be crucial in this matchup, especially because you don't want her to have the first roam into some of these like objectives that pop up. You know, we don't want her to first roam into Drake. That would be kind of awkward. We definitely don't want her roaming onto Grubs, because by that point she'll be level 6. And if we get a little out of control with this Yanara in the early game, it could actually spell doom for Galaxy Gaming. That champion is obnoxious when she's far ahead. We literally just saw in Nori B in game 1 between them and Butterfly, just how out of control that champion got, to the point to where they were diving between to the tier 3 for funsies. So if that kind of route is going, that is entirely possible. But I mean, in terms of like what I'm seeing, both comps are pretty straightforward on what they want to do. Jarvan, go in. Rakan, go in. Gwen, shred health bars. Yanara, clean up. Aurora, just blow people up. Same with Galaxy Gaming. Orianna, blow people up. Nocturne, go in. Jax, go in. Nico, flash pop blossom. Kaisa, clean up. So both these teams definitely have a game plan going into this first game of this series. Mind you, it is a best of 3 because I was a goon and forgot that it was a best of 3 that we're doing. It's not best of 1s because best of 1s suck. But coming into this game, I think with Galaxy Gaming being warmed up, it's possible that they might actually have the advantage coming into this game because they've already played a series prior to this. Milk Esports is coming off of a bye, so they have not played as of yet. So that is something that they are going to have to look into coming into this game, and I think Milk Esports can give them a run for their money as they are the 13th seed. But does seeding really matter? Apparently not, because 99 Gorillas beat Lotus earlier, I think, in the first game, so it's really up to them to see what they end up doing in this game.
And here we are already diving into game number 1 between Milk Esports over on blue side and, of course, the home team, Galaxy Gaming, over on the right-hand side. I don't suspect that either side is going to do a 5-man stack. That's usually a little bit of a riskier deal, and I don't think they want to take a crazy amount of risks. I think this is going to turn into exactly what you said. I think it's going to turn into a game of picks, a game of engage, and who can engage better, and I think that's going to be really important. I feel like Milk Esports has a little bit of advantage, at least when it comes to the early objectives, right? Because what the big thing Nocturne wants to do is he wants to do his full clear and he wants to hit 6 as quickly as possible, so he won't be there for some of the objectives. Granted, he can turn it around, but I think he's at a little bit of disadvantage until he gets that level 6.
Indeed. And that's kind of the thing I like, me as a caster. I'm cool with Nocturne, but it's unfortunate that he has to power farm for the first 8 minutes of the game, basically, until that first ultimate. And which brings us to the next point we usually always say about Nocturne. Where is that first ultimate going? That is the question. And we are making some very interesting decisions. Okay, never mind. We are definitely going to be watching to see where that first ultimate is going, because that is the most important and crucial thing that we are going to be looking at, because that can influence this game for sure. If Nocturne ults bottom lane, cool. Maybe that's a free kill for Nori B. If Nocturne ults top lane, all right. Arbrio ends up getting a nice little fun little kill there. Oh, we're taking Grasp. I like that. But pretty much once that ball combo comes online, these fights can be absolutely obnoxious. So, hey, fun fact for everyone in Twitch chat. So when I was in between games, and oh, hello, we're getting a little bit of chip damage here.
Nori B actually getting knocked up. Yanara really trading heavily into this. I think that's Levitate. Levitate doing a lot of work there in this early game, forcing a little bit of a pot popping there for an RB.
Indeed, but oh, now even the flash as well, even though they hit level 2, so that does mean there's a summoner disadvantage, and that's completely worth. Oh, hold that thought. Maybe not.
They turn that into a good amount of damage there on Yanara.
Okay.
Some solid trading for sure.
I respect it, but now Inori B doesn't have flash, so if that grand entrance is available, this can mean this will spell the doom of this Kaisa. Now having that flash is absolutely crucial. And then you have the Yanara W, which slows for like 95% because that makes sense. Thank you, Riot Games. So if getting caught by that can lead into a potential first blood, but I do think and like actually that they are giving a lot of respect over to that. So just trying to farm it up as best they can. I mean, Levitate even not having the barrier is a little bit of a not what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit of a concern as well, because the all-in potential from both these teams, as both the junglers are on this side of the map, mind you, is much of a fun potential that could end up happening. Is Manui's taking a lot of damage up here. Ario having the
Galaxy is trading really well. I'm surprised by how well their trades have been going in every single lane. Look at that. We've got Aurora taking a whole bunch of damage. We've got Gwen taking a whole bunch of damage. Bots taking a bunch of damage. You know, jungler's really the only exception here. I say that right as Nocturne runs into Jarvan. Remember, Jarvan has the advantage here, and he does get the a little bit of a stun there, or not a little bit of stun, a little bit of armor shred there on that side. But it looks like Rakan's going to go in and try to go on Krakadon. Krakadon's got to watch out for it, but Krakadon actually going, getting first blood, going to Orianna. That's going to be a good lead there on mid. Aurora trying to knock out the Nocturne. Indeed, they're going to find it, but now Aurora's going to try an escape, but I don't think she's going to be able to get it. I think this is a free kill here for Orianna, but maybe I'm wrong. Orianna over the wall. She tries to TP. Feats of Warfare already going to Galaxy Gaming. Galaxy Gaming showing that they don't care about the seats. They're going to take on the 13th seat.
Boom, boom, boom. All right, 3 quick kills in the first 4 minutes of this game for the side of Galaxy Gaming. I have to say, I was a little worried there for a moment, but once Krakadon spell shooted the Flag and Drag, I'm like, oh yeah, this fight's completely theirs. I do think it was a little unfortunate that the Draxler flashed up instead of towards his team, so not sure if that was a misclick or not, but think about where the kills went. You have 2 on the Orianna. You have 1 on the Kaisa. So that little bit of pressure that... Oh, what are we doing here? Okay. So that little bit of pressure that that the bottom lane of Milk was giving them, I would say arguably is neutralized as Rakan is here in the mid lane. -1 cannon, I think. That's super unlucky. But we have double buffs on an Orianna. She's going to be quite a bit of a problem and actually have a great time not having to leave lane at all.
But Aurora's been doing a pretty good job despite the infinite mana there on the other side. I don't think she has any pots really to deal with. She's got 1 red pot, and it looks like the other side has a lot more biscuits and whatnot, so they're in a really good spot. Richard getting chased out here by Phantom Star, having to back off. I believe they already knew that they were there. They saw they weren't bottom, and then it leaves Aurora to fight the Kaisa, which I feel like is going to be a tall order on that side. Aurora doing a pretty good job trading back and forth. Rakan going in. Richard getting a decent knock-up, but having to run away just in time, and there's going to be the Jarvan there for the support. And Richard is looking for some sort of angle, I think, here to play with mid or to play with their Jarvan, and I don't really blame him. I think Yunara is going to be uphill with Kaisa having that 1 kill for sure, and being able to shut down the Aurora, I think, would do a whole bunch. There's going to be out there on Orianna trying to knock down the Aurora. Aurora getting so close to going down, but just barely managing to survive.
Forces her back, too, has no TP, so will most likely lose the next wave. It's not there yet, but I like this change up that Galaxy Gaming have done. Obviously, in game 1, in the first series, rather, in round 1, that's better. In round 1, we kind of expected them to kind of walk all over Butterfly Mansion, but in this series, I would say this is a lot more calculated compared to that series, and I think they are aware that with them being the lower seed, is Yunara's doing a lot of damage here, and the heal is forced to
Krakadon. is looking for an angle, but looks like he's not going to take it. Maybe wait for them to go a little bit more under tower. They are indeed going to do it as top lane begins to fight. This is the perfect time, I think, for Nocturne to go in, and there's no wards, but it looks like he's going to back instead. Not sure what's up with that. He doesn't have 6 yet, so maybe he's waiting for his ult. Jarvan rotating here to try and go for the Jax, but Jax has wards and is definitely seeing that, and that's going to be a wise move there on his turn. Richard Yoon able to get a decent knock up there on the Nico. Nico going down. Milk finally able to score another point there on their side. Now it's 2-3, and the other one's gone on the ADC. That's going to be good for their side, and RB is going to have a harder time once their lane opponent has some gold in their pocket, but they have to get that reset off first.
It's kind of the story of the life when you're playing against Ricardo and you have no flash. It's like, if he lands it, and really good heads-up play. Oh, Spellbook. I was like, hey, I swear you did not have Ignite, but Spellbook is why he was able to get the Ignite down there. That Spellbook is going to be crucial, which it's kind of nice to see, too, that that Spellbook has kind of made a bit of a comeback. And I'm actually going to completely pivot points before I continue on with that one. Nocturne is level 6, so the game is officially on. The Shockwave is up also. So do we end up seeing a potential gank from this Nocturne in the next couple of minutes? Probably not. We don't really have anyone like anywhere on the map right now. Nico's kind of doing her thing, so Phantom's just getting some wards down. Getting some vision.
Aurora's the only angle right now.
Yeah, maybe, but if her W's up, then it's a little hard, and Rakana's in the area, and they know that. Jarvan's also in the area, so I think the call here is we're just going to brute force these grubs, kind of force the issue, maybe force the Galaxy Gaming to come into them. Crocodon spotted on this ward here, is aware of this, but I don't think there's really much of a move that could happen. I mean, Nico is 6, and Rakan's only 5, so maybe this is completely doable, and they should be aware that they are at the level disadvantage. And this is going to be really spicy if they decide to go for this. They really should wait until Rakan hits 6, I would think, if you're Milk Esports. But it looks like they're going to go ahead and just start the grubs and give it up.
When he just hit 5, so it's going to be all for day 6, but it doesn't look like Galaxy Gaming wants to take it. First grub goes down, leaving 2 remaining, so the lion's share is still available there for Galaxy, and they decide to back out. I think that is a good call. Maybe Jarvan's still looking for an angle. Another grub going down to the other side, so that's 1 grub on each side. It looks like Jax hasn't rotated just quite yet on his end, and really this has gone back and forward here for the grubs. Neither side really wanting to commit too much to a fight, just kind of feeling each other out, and I don't really blame them, right? They need to download their moves. They need to understand how they're going to play so they can make their own plays based off of that. Are they going to be aggressive? Are they going to go in and out? I feel like, I agree with you, yeah, I feel like a Galaxy had a good opportunity. Ooh, Aurora getting a decent amount of damage on Aurora, but once again, Aurora is a slippery fish to catch. Really, really hard to grab it. Gwen, however, is not proving to be as slippery, getting almost down to Jax, and now having to back off. They do have TP, but they're up on CS, surprisingly, so that's good on their end at least.
So I was trolling. Nico's only level 4. I think when she changed forms, it looked like she was 6, so I was baited. But we're ganking the Orianna, and she is forced to flash. That is the Yunara ultimate that was used. So I'm wondering what they're going to do with that information now that the Yunara ultimate is down. What I find it interesting is that slow beam. I call it the slow beam because I haven't learned the actual name yet. But I like that little slow beam that Yunara can do. It could give you a lot of peel and at the same time a lot of forward motion as well. Oh, and Nori B might be in danger. Is level 6 though, and is going to be spotting out the Jarvan. Oh, Nico's right there. Okay, she's a minion right now. They were trying to go for a really cheeky play, but they will just go ahead and back out. Are they trying to bait something in here? It looks like they are, because if they do full commit on the side of Milk Esports, Nocturne is bot side. It is hovering at the moment. Oh my word. Okay,
we're pretty good stun there by Nico. Nico sending her fake in a little bit forward. Nocturne looking for some sort of angle. And it looks like he's going to reveal himself just ever so slightly, so they know he's there. Maybe they saw it, maybe they didn't. Nari B trying to bait it out, trying to wait for the Nocturne. Nocturne still deciding not to go in. And the trade's really favoring Yunara so far on this one, despite being, looks like they're tied for gold, except for on CS.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. So I get what the play was. They wanted to make a call to, go for a full fight. Nocturne's nearby. Let's get the paranoia out. But it does not go their way. Jarvan is here topside, and I feel like Arbrio might have an idea. It's like, all right, why is the Gwen getting a lot more aggressive? Maybe the jungler's here, but we are 100% gearing up for a dive, I would say. Yeah, they're completely aware there's no vision here. Aurora's here as well. This is definitely death for a Jax.
Arborio's really going to watch out for it. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to throw this nearly. He does go for Gwen, trying to deal a whole bit of damage, but he blows his flash, gets taken out by the Aurora. Pretty good rotation there by Aurora and Jarvan. And I think that's our first successful gank, obviously with help and rotation there.
Yeah, not really surprising that ended up going the way it did. I mean, no flash, or not no flash, no wards, meaning you didn't know it was coming, but you probably had an idea. There is the quickness being popped.
Richard does ult the Orianna. Orianna going down about half HP. Nocturne turns out the light, going in on Yunara, trying to knock her down, but he's mostly by himself. Orianna is not able to do too much here as Richard once again knocks up the Orianna. And it looks like Kaisa finally going in with Killer Instinct, but she has to flash out. This fight is turned into absolute spaghetti, and no one's really got any sort of advantage there out of it. A lot of resources have gotten blown for sure, though.
I don't think we needed to go forward with the Killer Instinct there. I mean, if Noribi doesn't do that, it gets out with Flash, and you have that for this next fight, because the Drake is still alive. So I'm assuming we're going to be leaning towards that angle here. I think, nope, okay, never mind. Jungler's too low, so never mind. We're not going to do that at all. Very interesting call there, and that kind of also goes to show that these two teams are completely aware of what's at stake, because obviously winning this series moves you on to the next round. Losing, I think, drops you out to the lower bracket, if I'm thinking correctly.
Yeah, it's double elimination. So they go into a loser's bracket, and then they get eliminated from there if they get taken out. So they do have another opportunity to play. Decent trading back and forth for Gwen. Unfortunately, she does take a tower shot. One thing I wanted to note is Nico hasn't gotten a lot of successful rotations off on her end, while Rakan has definitely had an impact and has been a pest. So I think there's a little bit of a difference in how the supports are playing, and I don't think Nico being bot lane has really helped them out a whole bunch. It's not like Yunara has any deaths. Sure, Rakan has a death, but so does Nico, and I think Rakan's had a bigger impact so far. Speaking of, to make me a liar, Nico going in, rooting down the Gwen, but Gwen has to blow a flash and is able to get out. However, that's going to be one resource down, trying to give Jax a little bit of edge, but there's Richard right there ready for the rotate. Not sure if he TP'd top with that spell book. No, looks like he's got heal right now.
Yeah, he TP'd the spell book. That's how he got up there.
Oh, he did TP with spell book. Okay.
Yeah, so they should be aware of this. This does mean the first Drake opens up for the side of Milk. They're going to be very happy about that. I mean, it's a pretty late dragon, but at the same time, this does mean this provides some pressure. God, I hate that slow so much. This provides some pressure for the Jax. They actually got first tower. Okay, never mind. So Jax got first tower, and they got Pizza Warfare off of that. So, never mind. What do I know? They know clearly better than I do. So, with feet secured and a potential dive on the Orianna coming, but they should know as there was a pink ward in that pit. So they will just go ahead and back off. They take the Drake. They're like, okay, you know what? This is fine. Whatever. Let's see real quick. I wonder if I can see gold for a moment. I want to see if we can see the gold right now, if we can get that, but it'll be probably a couple of seconds. So with that, the gold lead was starting to slowly creep in favor for Milk, but since that first tower fell, and a little bit of farm here and there and split back, it's not much. But with the game being this close, and this is what I was saying, this is night and day compared to round 1 versus now. Okay, thank you for that one, Ice. So we got 100 gold in favor of top, 100 gold in jungle, 200 in mid lane, so it's actually a lot smaller than I thought it was, but it is 2 kills.
Richard actually getting caught, not able to go over the wall. He has to blow his ult, and is saved by Yunara. Yunara finally makes it there in mid, but after Rakan blows a healthy amount of resources, unfortunately. It looks like he didn't have flash, so he just blew his ult instead, but still, that's going to be pretty devastating, and it looks like Galaxy is going to try and capitalize on that as quickly as possible, going for a Shelly. However, Jarvan is here. He's really great at stealing. We might get to see that here in a second. Shelly getting really close. Richard wasting his knockout, unfortunately, right there. Just like I was talking about, Jarvan going in, Nocturne turning off the lights, and then they turn off his lights, and now Inari B's left by themselves as Jarvan gets a Cataclysm inside the Baron pit, and it looks like this has definitely gone to Milk Esports. It's now 6-3, and that's a Shelly for the other side for Milk.
And the worst part is Drexler kind of just walked in and smited it too. Like, he walked in and smited it. And unfortunately, Arbrio did not have TP, so was not able to be there in response. So Gwen got the first move, and it was 4v5, and it was just Jover. So they go down in kills. I think it was a 3 for nothing. They're down 2,000 gold now. They're going to lose this mid lane turret. This is why I also say, oh, okay, never mind. They're not going to lose mid tower because I can't count minions. So there's that. This is kind of why I say if you're not going to play Yunara, just ban it. Because, like, once that champion gets accelerated, she's really obnoxious to deal with. Sitting at 2-0 right now, has the board completed. Again, you can build whatever you want on her, apparently, and it's fine. So it's getting to the point where if she starts getting more and more accelerated, it's going to be very difficult for Galaxy Gaming to get to a position to where they can take a really strong point in this game. Wait, you can... Hold on, pause. You can Nico the Roses? I'm seeing some really exceptional counterplay potential here. And by that, I mean just like really crappy dumb plays. I need to play Nico today. I think that's what I'm going to do after we're done today.
I did want to note, though, the wins so far for Milk have been like very, very calculated, very, very solid. Jax does have to watch out for a lot here as Richard goes back in, getting the knock up. However, he's got plenty of time as an REB, or sorry, as I fake an REB, I think. Is that fake or real? Nocturne does turn out the lights. There's going to be a TP there for Orianna, and now there's 4 in bottom on each side. I think the numbers definitely, or the gold definitely favors Milk there on their side. Not sure. It looks like it was Nico that rotated bar. So the real NREB is in mid lane, and this is now a 5-man stack on this side. Not sure what the plan is, though. There's no objective to fight over. I think diving them at this point might be a little aggressive, but maybe they're just trying to give room for Gwen to open up that bot tower, and indeed, it looks like that is going to happen. It looks like we're going to get Yunara going here for an REB, losing a whole bunch of HP as Jarvan immediately goes in with a Cataclysm, trying to knock down an REB. Nocturne trying to counter it, followed in by Jax. Araru going for Leviathan. There's going to be Nico knocked up. This might be exactly what Galaxy Gaming needs. There it is, Yunara going down. That's going to be a shutdown. However, Jarvan going back in, knocking up Krakodon, flashing over a wall. Phantom Star now being left by themselves, and that's going to be a 1 or 2 for 1 for Milk Esports.
Okay, well,
3 for 1.
2.
But Richard, no. I think he gets him. I think he gets him. He gets him.
Okay, so 3 for 1 at the end of that whole play, plus mid lane tower. That should fall as well. Okay, we're being cheeky. Yeah, we're starting to get wallet diffed a little bit. That's kind of what happened with the Nori B being chunked out. It's just he was not able to join in the fight there. It's just absolutely chunked out by the Yunara because that's how strong this champion is. I stand by what I say. Unless you dump everything onto Yunara, you should not take 1v1s with her. She's just stronger than you at this point in the game. I do not believe, I could be wrong, I don't know if an B has Q upgrade yet. Probably close to it, but we're getting the Rift Herald dropped right now. I think the timer was getting ready to expire, so they will take that off the board. It should not potentially, maybe, more synonyms for possibly crash into that top lane tower. It looks like actually they're going to all work their way up there and escort it into there, which makes a lot of sense. Oh, Arbrio, you are in danger if you do not spot the conglomerate of people moving up that way. But it looks like we're trying to get some Dragon Prio as the moment, and this should be the top tier one that falls. Another tower in favor of Milk Esports, and they're showing why they are the 13th seed. It's a little difficult for Galaxy Gaming right now, I would say. They're starting to fall further and further behind, and I think with their comp is more of a pick comp than it is like an actual team fighting comp, I have to say. Kai'Sa really the only one that's able to do that. But this game's going to get harder and harder for them, and we're starting to see that cresting the 20-minute mark.
Well, and I think this is one of the things we're seeing here with Milk Esports. They've been very calculated at what they're going for. It's been very clear. They're like, oh, we're going for this tower. We're going for that tower. We're trying to give pressure so we can get a Drake. We're trying to get this objective, that objective. And so a lot of their wins, especially in the early game, have been very much so these sort of domino tipping, setting up this, adding small pressure. They're getting this sort of like soft power for their size. And then when they finally have an opportunity, go in and do a crazy amount of damage. Because at this point, they can be a little bit more crazy. They can be a little bit more wacky. Richard, speaking of wacky, going in for the Jax. Jax does indeed get knocked up. Aurora not able to follow it up because Jax has a ward he can jump to and is able to get out in time. But Richard, having absolutely no fear, is just going to go ahead and going to leave. There's going to be the TP heading down bottom as Aurora tries to help with this Autocon. Autocon about half HP. It doesn't look like Galaxy has an angle here for it. At this point, I'm not sure they want to take this fight. However, there's going to be a TP trying to give them the numbers advantage, having to back pick them up. Autocon does get that armor shred. The number advantage is definitely in Galaxy's favor. They need to utilize this sooner rather than later. Autocon does get reset there on their end, and now Richard needs to watch out for Jax there on his side. Maybe waiting, maybe looking for some sort of angle that might have been a good chance to grab Richard there on that end, but it looks like they decided not to take it. They decided not to take the bait, and that's probably not the worst call. Richard, or specifically Rakan, is very hard to lock down, even if you have, even if he looks like he's in a bad spot, like right now.
Okay, so we're letting Jax do his thing, getting pressure from off of these towers. I'm having thoughts, and I'm trying to figure out how Galaxy Gaming kind of come back into this. Unless we get a pick here on the Richard. But I do not like the Otacon start. I've seen way too many teams lose games over this, and I really hope they don't commit to this, because it is spotted. Jarvan can't roll down. They're just, bullying this Jax out. Yeah, all right. And now they're going to go ahead and get this Otacon. All right. I hate this.
Jarvan is ready. Nocturne turns out the light once again, trying to go for the Aurora, but Aurora nukes him before he can even get anything done, and Galaxy Gaming just folding under the pressure. Their health bars are blinking, getting taken out. Inari B getting taken down. Aurora has so much gold, and now the Orianna gets caught. That's a double kill for Gwen. Gwen is now online.
We are losing to Otacon. That is all I see teams do, regardless of what league it is. It could be tier 3, it could be amateur, tier 3, tier 2. Even I've seen it happen in the LPL, LCK, and the LTA. Teams will always throw at, well, they'll always lose at Otacon. The armor strat is just too good on that to even start it. They should have known. They don't see Jarvan on the map. Their Jax is being bullied off. They should not have started it. I don't agree with the call to do that. It puts them further in the hole now. That was a 4-0 fight at the end of that whole thing. The score is 13-3, and they're down 7,000 gold. This game is just really hard for them right now.
Well, and even if the gold was tied, right, I think starting Autocon, unless you have an extremely clear advantage for Galaxy, is really, really risky, right? Because, of course, you've got Autocon's armor shred, and then you've got Jarvan's armor shred, right? And from what I understand is they don't stack, but they do work together in a very silly way, right? So, like, that's double armor shred, so you're just going to get absolutely nuked, and then you've got to worry about Yunara, you've got to worry about Gwen. There's so much damage there to do, and Yunara sort of has these, like, tiny AoE attacks that are really irritating to deal with. Like, you mentioned that slow and how irritating it is. So, like, imagine if you get slowed inside of Autocon's, like, primary attack. They can watch out for it. There is the fake Nico, the fake Inari B once again as Richard goes in for Nocturne. Krakadon now getting destroyed over here by Jarvan as he gets taken out and destroyed. And Galaxy really struggling. Nico going in, getting a decent knockup. Looks like it might turn into a full fight. There is the Killer Instinct, and Inari B finally able to get a kill. However, Galaxy Gaming just doesn't have enough gas in the tank as Aurora tries to lock down the Nico, tries to go for the Nico. Nico just barely able to get out, using her clone to bait. At the very least, they stopped the bleeding, and it wasn't a full ace, and it very well could have been. But Milk Esports is going to take every kill and turn it into advantage, like they were able to grab that tower right there. Gwen just sort of continuing to push, and now that they have that pressure top, I suspect they're going to go for another Drake.
I think so. This would put them on soul point as well, but this is the penalty. It's not really a penalty, but this is the price of losing all of that pressure mid and top. You just pretty much have no avenue in your own jungle, because unlike our solo queue games, in competitive play, there's so much vision placed down everywhere, so that way they have complete tracking of where you are, and it's completely dark on your side if you are at a disadvantage, and they use this to their advantage. We thought, turning off the lights would make it just a wee bit better, but unfortunately that was just not the case. They're too far behind. Yes, they get the kill on the Levitate, but at what cost? Pretty much their whole team, the top tier 2, the bot tier 2 is low HP. Probably one more wave, and then that'll go down as well. But the next Dragon is up and available. I don't anticipate there will be much contest. Lots of teams will give up one Cloud Drake. Maybe if we can get another major item component onto a Nori B, or complete that Nashor's too, then maybe we'll see something. But for now, I just think they're going to give this up.
Well, and I think giving it up is definitely going to be the right call here. I think more teams or less and less teams know how to play from behind, which is like it's such an important thing, right? It's a lot easier for people to win a game, mental wise and everything else wise, if they already have like a massive advantage, right? Granted, losing that can like sort of like tilt them on the other side, but I think playing from behind is really, really important, and I would love to see Galaxy do a little bit more of that, and sort of think about these plays, like their shot callers with that autocon. I feel like that's something they should have called out. They should have identified the Jarvan early on and go, okay, so they have a Jarvan, so unless we have a massive advantage, we should not be starting autocon whatsoever, because it'll put us at such a crazy disadvantage there with Jarvan, especially because you kind of have to be grouped up like that. That spot's very awkward in bot lane in order to go for autocon, so it gives Jarvan a lot of room to do a lot of different things and isolate a lot of people, and so it's just not an objective I would go for if I was Galaxy Gaming.
Indeed. So, we're 27 minutes about to be, and never mind, we're fighting. I'll
there
shut
it is,
up now.
Nocturne going in. Actually, a pretty decent amount of damage there. Gwen trying to get out, doing a little bit of fleeing, but they turn it around immediately, and Nocturne going down about half HP. Jarvan getting a knock up and getting destroyed there on there, and Richard getting a knock up there and there. They're trying to everything they can in order to get these kills, but it's just not going to work. Jax being the last man standing, and he might just barely get out of there. Yes. No, he's not going to make it out of there. Jarvan getting an ace, and that's all of Galaxy down. Look at the score. It's about 11K at 27 minutes.
I don't know what to say to that. Like, I understand the reason for doing it. They felt like because they're so far behind that they have to do something. But unfortunately, they're just so far behind, just not able to secure that kill. So that's a Terminus third, okay? That is an eco running on my screen. What are we doing there? There we go. But this is Baron. I'm kind of reserving myself right now because pretty much from that dragon fight that happened earlier in my mind is like, okay, this game might get out of control really quickly, and that pretty much has happened. We're staring at a 20-5 score. It's a 13,000 gold lead, which just got there after the Baron was taken. They're at Soul Point, but I don't think the game will last long enough for them to even get Cloud Soul. But my, we are just at a very difficult position. Very difficult position right now on the side of Galaxy Gaming. We're TPing in for this, and I don't think this is worth it.
Nocturne going in on the Gwen. Gwen being the only one who doesn't have an insane amount of kills, and she might actually get taken down, but there is Jarvan once again looking for an angle, knocking up the Nocturne, turning the fight around once again. There's going to be a double kill on Gwen, and now Gwen has an angle on Phantom Star. Nico's really got to watch out for this. I don't think there's any getting away, especially here with Richard. They're trying to fight it, but they get exhausted, destroyed, and taken out, and that's going to be another 3 kills for Milk Esports. I got to say, I'm a little upset. I thought the early game was going quite well for Galaxy Gaming, but they just weren't able to hold on to the consistency, and I think the consistency was much stronger here on Milk, and we're seeing the effects of that for sure. Look how quickly the Gwen is nuking that fountain turret.
Lord. Okay, honestly, with all them dying, it's going to be the end of this game. But not surprising, I'm not going to lie. I mean, just that lost fight in the river, it's like, okay, we could be in danger right now. And they just were not able to have the tank in the gas in the tank to keep it going after that early game. And wow, I mean, unsurprising result, I have to say, with how out of control that mid game got, especially at that Otacon fight. And I knew it in my soul. I know it in my soul. Every time a team tries to do Otacon, it gets wiped. It's like, yep, from then on, it's kind of looking donezo. But that was an unfortunate game for Galaxy Gaming. But Milk Esports just doing their thing and showing, hey, we're the 13th seed for a reason. We got to buy for a reason. Here's why.
Well, and see, the thing about with these higher ranked teams, I think a lot of the times why they're higher ranked is they're not necessarily just outright better players. They might just be more consistent, right? Like that's something you see in solo queue is like you'll rise consistently if you play consistently, and it's the same thing in competitive, right? Like if your team is more consistent, sure, you might make a couple of mistakes here and there, but as long as you maintain your mental and you keep your plan in mind, but flexible, you can really start to turn things around. And I think we saw that. Milk started off at a little bit of a disadvantage, some really good hits from Galaxy, but Galaxy just wasn't able to hold it together, and then it just started to fall apart. Alrighty, and we are back into game number 2 between Milk Esports and Galaxy Gaming. Right underneath my big dumb head is going to be Galaxy Gaming in the blue, and over underneath DBZ is going to be Milk Esports on red side.
Well, why can't I have a big dumb head? Why has it got to be you?
I mean, we could both have big dumb heads. I just don't want to go that far yet because we don't know each other. I usually only insult my friends, so once we get to that level, I can throw them to your direction all the time.
That's pretty fair. All right, so as mentioned, Galaxy, blue side, Milk, red, over here. Milk, red side. So with that, we're going to get right into picks and bans. Looks like we're starting off with the Scion ban first, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, I need to figure something out real quick first. Hold on.
Next ban is going to be Azir, so Scion, Azir, pretty solid choices. What I'm really hoping we get to see here from Galaxy Gaming, and Milk has already taken... No, actually, Galaxy Gaming picked blue side, because it's usually loser picks, and I doubt it's changed here. So Galaxy picked blue side, so hopefully they've got a strategy in mind. If I was them, I would probably continue picking red side and go for that counter pick and try to get what advantages you can. Especially because this is fearless, so once something is picked, it doesn't show up anymore. So your pool gets smaller and smaller and smaller each time. Like Yunara is no longer on the table for either team, which was something both teams seem to really enjoy playing, and probably not just them.
Nah, yeah, I definitely agree with you. So that guy, the bird below me, Azir, that way. Azir being taken off the table kind of signals to me that maybe we want, and this is what I'm gathering here. Maybe we want to pick Galaxy Gaming to pick up Taliyah, because typically if Azir's off the table, Taliyah is like one of the next best ones. So if they want them to pick Taliyah, maybe they have something in mind already into the counter matchup, which would be very interesting to see if Milk Esports is big braining this through this draft. But we have Wukong and Pantheon taken off the table as well. Unsurprising that both the teams have taken off the table. Jin, the next best AD carry. Oh, we're signaling a Varus first pick, aren't we? We could be signaling a Varus first pick, I would think. He's one of the last AD carries. It's like, oh, I'm making it sound like we're 4 games into a series right now, but it's usually the next like priority pick in best of 3s that I'm noticing if Jin's taken off the table, because you already have Yunara and Kai'Sa off the table. Really all you have left since now Jin is off is Xayah, Varus, Ezreal's another option. Sometimes Caitlyn gets picked as well. Misfortune's another option as well. So really curious to see what Galaxy Gaming has in mind coming into this the second game, because they are on the back foot. They need to win 2 in a row to get through to round 3, which they're definitely vying for that spot. I mean, that's why you're here. That's why you're in open qualifiers. You want to make it to the NACL, because at the end of the day, that means you make it to tier 2. Boom. Awesome. You're feeling good about yourself, and that gives you a lot of confidence. But it has to start right here, right now for Galaxy Gaming. We're waiting to see what the last ban is. Looks like Milk is taking their dear sweet time. Oh, there's the Varus. So that takes that off the table. Really, all that's left is Xayah. And you don't have Rakan, so from there, I think we would probably see something like Rel paired with it or something like that. But very interesting to think about what they might be going for the first pick here. Because the only thing I could think of, we're first picking Sejuani.
Sejuani, okay.
Never mind.
So it might be controversial, but I do like the Sejuani pick because it's safer as a jungle, right? She's a really solid champion, right? And especially in the jungle, and there's a lot that she can do. Granted, you can whiff ults, but it's really hard to whiff ult. I think it's a safe pick. Not that it can't be countered, not that it can't be destroyed, but I think it's always a really solid choice. And they're like, we got to pick somebody first, so why not go with Sejuani?
Mm-hmm. I like the Sejuani pick. I'm with you on that one. It's kind of out of left field because not normal that we see that champion first pick, which I wonder what the rest of the comp's going to be as a result of that. It's going to be interesting to see. Sejuani Renekton is a really good combo that we'll see. Looks like Maokai is going to be the response on the side of Milk Esports. Do they pick their ADC right here? That is the question of the century. I wonder with who's banned right now, is they could slap up Xayah on a support right now, or rather they could slap up Xayah rather if they wanted to. If not, and maybe they pick something else, and on the other side we could have Xayah insert support here. It looks like it's going to be Corki that's picked up instead. Okay, so the last really good AD carry for the 3rd or 4th time is Xayah, so maybe will pick it. I would think so. Maybe Misfortune's another option as well, but Misfortune's not played as much as she used to be, so...
I think she's in a weird spot right now. I don't think she's particularly terrible, but I think there's just better options on the on the field, at least in competitive. I still like her very much so in solo play, and there is an angle for her to grab here, but I think there just might be better options. I mean, I guess it's nice with Sejuani, right? But the really big thing with MF you got to watch out for is because they have not only a Corki but a Maokai, Twisted Advance is such a scary ability, and it's very easy to get caught and grabbed there, and I think they're definitely going to worry about that. Galaxy Gaming going into a Yone, though.
Yeah, Aj with the Yone. It could be very interesting. Well, this could be top, but not likely. But that implies to me at that point that if we are picking Yone in the mid lane, is there a universe, a very unlikely universe, that we do Ziggs in the bottom? Is that possible? Do you think?
I think it's still on the table.
Okay, never mind.
I do actually like Ziggs in bot lane, in my opinion, and I really like Corki in mid lane. I don't think we're going to see Corki mid lane here, probably in OQ, but I could definitely cross my fingers and hope for it. I always thought he was a fun mid laner to play.
Definitely agree with you on that one. So we're getting ready to go into the second phase of men's after this last pick. I would guess maybe we pick another mid laner. There's really quite a few that are left. There's still Victor, that's an option. There's Gal. Okay, well, right before I could even say it, there's Galio right there. So Galio is going to be the pickup. Really intense global presence that he can have with that hero's entrance. Right? No, okay. I was thinking of Poppy for whatever reason, but I could think of the ability. So the hero's entrance having that global presence around the map, meaning if you start a little bit of a tussle in one of the lanes, Galio can be like, hey, how's it going? So we're moving on to the second phase of ban. Sivir being taken off the table actually makes a lot of sense. Sivir really obnoxious in the later stages of this game, and this game looks like it's going to probably try to go about that late. Also, with that spell switch, you can block, some of Corki's damage, whether that's the rockets or the phosphorus bomb, whatever she wants it to be. And I would think maybe not the AD carry pool, but maybe the support pool or the top lane pool is going to be pinched a bit for the side of Milk Esports. I would see things like Kassanti were taken off the table as well. Alistair being taken off makes a lot of sense. So that's pretty much been permabanned, I think, like the entirety of the day, I would think. Right? Yes. No.
I believe so. No. I'm not sure in the first couple. Not that it mattered. I'm not sure in the first two games with the other team that it was banned. But I can't even say I've slept since then. I just don't remember off the top of my head. I did want to point out though, a lot of the picks, especially in the first game and now continuing into the second here for Milk, they've been very high. I want to say skill ceiling champions, right? We had Aurora previously, and then they immediately went to Galio. And not that Galio can't be picked up by just about anyone, but playing Galio correctly, he's got a very specific rhythm, and when you see a skilled player on them, I think that he can be very, very interesting to watch. And this might just come from me, I'm not a big fan of a lot of the flashy champions. I like the domino tipping, and I think Galio very much does that. And I think there's a very fine needle he can thread from turning these fights like in their favor. Now, obviously the taunt's really powerful, but I think Galio has a lot of options.
It is Corki
there.
mid.
And then following up, so yeah, Corki mid, I'm happy about that, into Ezreal.
Wow, okay. So the Draven and the Sivir bans make a lot more sense then. Okay, so we are getting that Corki mid, so the range matchup into the Yone is interesting, so that is a top lane Galio then that we are seeing. Is there a universe where this is Maokai support too then? Well, maybe, but not likely. Really curious what we take off the table, because if this ends up being a Maokai support, then I think Milk Esports kind of baited Galaxy Gaming, I would say, into using two support bans. That would be very interesting, because that means that leaves open potentially something stronger in the jungle if they decide to go for it. But Galaxy Gaming now, with they see the Ezreal, they're like, all right, well, that's a Corki mid, so we're locking in Vayne. Okay, I was not prepared for this. I was not prepared for the Vayne whip out during this. It's very interesting. So who do you pair
You,
with?
you really wanted to will that Zeri into existence. You tried very hard for both teams, and both teams ignored you on it, unfortunately. But I think there's a non-zero chance that we're going to get a support Maokai. I love him as a support, in my opinion. Twisted Advance is strong almost no matter what lane you go into, followed into the ult, right? And there's a lot of play there. And I think that's like where Maokai falls apart, I think, as support, is like once he goes in, if there's not a lot of follow-up, or if you have any sort of like awkward like indecisiveness, that's when Maokai starts to take a crazy amount of damage. What he should be doing is he should be going in, and then he should try to rotate out with the team, wait for his abilities to pop back up, and then go back in, blow everything he's got, use his passive. And so I think there's an angle for Milk Esports to do that, but we'll get to see if they've made me a liar here in a minute as we take forever to pick these last two picks.
Really curious what the plan is. I was about to say Lulu or Janna's really the only option I can think of for this vein, and they go ahead and pick the Lulu. So from there, what are we cooking, Milk? Are you leaving us? Are you leaving us with the Galio in the jungle, or are you completely flipping the narrative and doing Maokai support? I'm very, very curious. Otherwise, in terms of jungles, okay, so it is Maokai jungle, and it's going to be the Bard, which makes sense. I mean,
you don't think it'll be Bard jungle? Hey, I did
the gears turning.
I did Janna jungle in Diamond, so like it worked out. It's not impossible. So I mean, yeah.
I played with recently. A friend of mine played Braum jungle, so like, yeah, I totally get it. All right, well, so that is the draft. That's really interesting to see. I think Milk Esports is a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know if sustained team fighting is the word I'm looking for, because Ezreal, obviously, when he gets some time in some of these fights, can start chunking through some of these health bars. Once he starts cycling these abilities over the course of 10 seconds, they can do a lot. There's a lot of setup from the Maokai and the Galio as well. And what I'm kind of wondering is, actually, we're going to bull run it right into this second game, and keep in mind, Galaxy Gaming, and if they lose here, they still drop down to the lower bracket, and they will be playing it next week or maybe tomorrow instead. I haven't figured out the dates for lower bracket yet.
It should be tomorrow, I think, if I remember correctly, but I can double check later on. We're not getting any sort of 5-man stack. Once again, not real surprised at that. I think that the higher and higher these guys be, the less likely they're going to do a 5-man stack, because over the years, the ganking and jungle just hasn't been as strong, maybe unless you've got like a Blitzcrank where you can get sort of just a free hook off. But so far I don't think we've seen too much of Blitz in a while, at least in the OQ from when I've been at Old Sale. But yeah, the 5-man stack just hasn't been as good. The ganks just haven't been as good, especially with all of the different ways they've changed jungle, since they added pets and so on and so forth. So it doesn't really surprise me that we see constant 5 stars from these higher teams.
Okay. I'm in my thoughts, and I'm wondering, is the plan to get a Nori B super stupid ahead? I would assume so, since we are starting topside as the Sejuani, because I mentioned this recently too, is that Vayne is a very feast or famine champion. If you can get her ahead, great. She's gonna 100% take over the game. If she falls behind, you're kind of have to, ooh, nice dodge there. If she falls behind, it's a little awkward, because it's very hard for her to come back, especially, once the tanks start getting a little too tanky. Sure, at some point she'll eventually get there. That stun is going to hit, but we're taking a lot of damage, and that's the Ignite down as well, and the Cleanse burned also.
Inari B, look at their HP just absolutely disappear there. Really struggling here into these trades, and I think it's reversed from how it was earlier on. That doesn't surprise me too much with a Vayne, but it's also an Ezreal, and I think Ezreal can go from doing quite well to not bad. And something I actually missed is I didn't even realize it was Galio top. I completely forgot about Corki mid, but yeah, it is indeed Galio top, which I don't get to see too often. I don't know how that matchup is supposed to go.
So Broken Blade plays it in the LEC. I've seen him play it a few times now, I think. It's kind of like the same thing of playing Galio in mid lane. Oh, wow, nice stun.
Bard getting a pretty good stun there on Inari B. Lulu trying to capitalize on a little bit of her shielding. Worried about some of the damage there from Ezreal, but it looks like nothing's going to happen for it. But still, Vayne has to back off.
Okay, well, nice little bit of chip damage there. Now, that's really bad that Vayne has to reset this early because there is a wave crashing right now, and there's another wave slowly following behind it. So, as I was saying, the Galio top matchup, there's really no difference between that or playing it mid lane. Now, granted, this isn't a Rumble, so is my boy getting minion blocked? Wow, thank you, Riot Games, for that one. But all you have to do is pretty much just like survive against the Rumble, just not die, and then it's pretty much like you just build full tank and it's fine. We have phase rush though, so I'm wondering what the game plan here is for the build. It's going to be very interesting to see because normally I think because it's not a tank v tank matchup, you're not going to take grasp, which makes a lot of sense. But this is going to be a hard matchup, I would say, for Manui up until at least up until some of that magic resist starts coming in. So they kind of are on a bit of a timer up with this top lane as well, because if Galio gets a little too tanky, that's a lot of damage as Levitate's going forward and Maokai's here. Ooh.
Vayne actually condemning Ezreal into the wall. Unfortunately, they didn't have a lot of follow-up there. Maokai is here for the pressure. I don't think they see him. And Sejuani, it looks like, did use their downtime in order to go top, not wanting to fight the enemy jungler there for it. Inari B still trading pretty well. Ezreal's really got to be careful with how low his HP is. Vayne's in a great position to grab it. Krakadon looking for an angle, trying to grab the Galio, but I think that's a tall order to grab. But Galio is pretty low. Krakadon inching forward ever so slightly. Not sure if they're in vision range, but Galio probably senses something is up.
I mean, your laner starts getting more aggressive. Like, what's your first thought? Like, someone is here. And 9 times out of 10, that's usually the case, or unless they feel like they could get a better end of a trade. Now, here in the mid lane, this should start getting easier for Aj. I mean, we're at the point now where he's level 5, has a little bit of extra stats. Once that level 6 ticks in, rather, it's going to be a way easier matchup for the Yon, just able to get out of sticky situations, do his own thing, get a lot of chip damage down onto this Corki, and we are seeing what I thought I would not see in this. We're getting a lane swap. We only see this mess in pro play usually, but hey, we're swapping the bottom lane up here. That also makes a lot of sense because Bard Ezreal is obnoxious to deal with. So putting this Vayne into an easier matchup, I think, is a smart call. So good on Galaxy Gaming to recognize that. Arbrielle is just going to kind of chill here, farm under tower. They might... Yeah, never mind. Maokai's not 6 yet, so they will not go for a dive. But Arbrielle is going to just farm this under tower, kind of just chillax now, and maybe get stunned. Okay, does not get stunned, but the tower shot is taken by Richard. So this is very interesting. Maybe we leave the Vayne up here, and what are we posturing for? What are we doing? What are we thinking about doing right now? What I'm wondering. But this should be the Drake going over.
They are hammering the Drake though. Maokai's been on it for quite some time. I don't even think Sejuani really wants to fight it, especially because there's no longer 2 bottom. They went top, and that's sort of one of the disadvantages of sending Rumble there down bottom is you pretty much immediately give up Prio there for it, and that might be exactly what Galaxy is doing. Is they're like, we're not going to have Prio here for this one. Pretty good poke here from Phantom Star on top of the Galio. Galio really getting bullied, really getting punished. Always love to see that, especially as someone who plays a lot of Lulu. People forget how insanely aggressive she can be and how oppressive she can be, and we're seeing that right here into the Galio. Galio really struggling, 36 CS to 49 on the Vayne, and this is exactly what Vayne wants. Vayne's got almost a free lane to farm, especially with Lulu sitting here. They do have to watch out for ganks. We are finally getting a rotation. Bard is coming top as well as the Ezreal, but I think the damage is kind of already done. Vayne's got a decent amount of farm, but it's not like Ezreal's been a slouch. He's got 53 CS there on his end as well.
I would imagine we're going to swap back because we are going Operation Avoid the Ezreal Bard as much as we can. Okay.
Looks like you called it.
Operation Avoid Bard as much as we can. So, yep, they're going right back down to the bottom lane. Rumble's going to come back up here. This does mean that they won't be here for the grubs. Okay, never mind. We're up to some, aren't we? Aj is taking a lot of damage here. Maybe if he decides to... Oh, okay, never mind. So for a moment, I thought we were going to get a little something. Unlucky that Q did not hit. But we're lane swapping again. Boom. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. So I guess we just don't get to play the game. There is a universe where probably Bard's going to roam around the map, get ready for these grubs spawning in 30 seconds. have that ultimate. Oh, hold on a second.
Ooh, Oz trying to take a little bit of the bait there. Bard wasn't a good spot, but it looks like Oz felt a disturbance in the force and was able to back out just in time before anything really happened. I think there were minions there for Bard to get a stun, but they were able to feel that League Sixth Sense really kicked in and came in clutch there for their side. Galio really struggling here doing this, trying to do at least some damage to the Lulu, maybe to try to curb her aggression, but this is going to be pretty hard. He's going to have to farm under tower just like the Rumble is doing.
Indeed. And the Void Grubs have spawned. We do have the Ezreal up here. So there's probably not a universe where probably not a universe where there is a contest. They're going to try to dive this guy, but Bard's on the way, so maybe they have some inclination this is going to happen. You do see the wave is pushing. Asha's taking a lot of damage right now. My word. Okay, well.
Crackodon going in, looking for an angle to go onto the Galio, but it looks like Bard is there with a save, waiting for the wave, trying to help out there. As Sejuani, Crackodon has to flash backwards, already about half HP. Bard buying them just enough time for Galio to get his full kit back up and online. Indeed, they backed off rather quickly after Bard ulted.
That is the classic. Yep, Void Grub's taken on the other side of the map as well. Got a 700 gold lead. It's a very quiet early game, minus little bouts of action here and there. And I'm not surprised. I mean, that's a really good call. Oh, hold on a second.
Nari B left by themselves, going to get taunted there by the Galio. Bard, Richard trying to find another stun, getting a little bit too close to that wall. There's the ignite, there's the death, and there's the first blood 9 minutes in. Something I wanted to say, I kept meaning to mention, is one of the ways that Milk won the previous game, other than the dominating part, is in the early game, they just looked for these little bitty micro wins, and they're doing that, right? They had pressure, so they took Drake. They had pressure, so they took, was it Grubbies in the top lane? They saw Vayne was isolated, and they're like, ooh, a free snack, and they went for it. And so, like, they haven't been going for anything that's, like, real crazy. They've just been they've just been going for the candy that's, like, closest within reach, and not spending a lot of resources for it, not taking a lot of risks, and I think it's paying off.
Yeah, definitely agree with you on that one. And as a result, they're now 1,000 gold ahead. A lot of it's also from the CS too, in the CS department, minus the top lane. But everyone's pretty much ahead in the other lanes. So from there, I mean, it's also like, hey, Galio, you're just chilling anyways, so we'll see you in 10 minutes when we have a next fight, which could be, funny enough, in the next minute. Oh, my
Phantom
word.
Star getting stunned, lockdown, followed into an ult there by Ezreal. Now Inari B is going to get dove under tower. She's already at half HP, gets stunned down. Bard hits just the tower, and Feats of Warfare goes to Milk Esports.
Well, we have gone from a 1,000 gold lead to 2 now in the span of 20 seconds. So with that, that should open up a lot of nonsense, I would say. A couple tower plates going down in the bottom lane. Galio is going to reset right now, most likely come down for this next Drake. Oh, never mind. Cancel the back. Okay, never mind. But that's more gold into the pockets of some of these crucial members. Ezreal, fine example, of course. Got another tower plate just now. Already has a 100 gold bounty. And there's just been no response, really, from the side of Galaxy Gaming. And that's not really their fault. It's just those little micro things you were talking about that they haven't really been able to capitalize on for themselves. And Manui could be in danger, but there is a ward here and can get out and will spot out this Sejuani.
Crackodon once again looking for another angle. It looks like Galio does flash over, I think just barely missing the stun, but still gets stunned anyways. This is the perfect time here for them to get killed, and they do get a kill. Bard trying to rotate. Richard once again having good map awareness, but just wasn't able to make it there this time around. And something I wanted to say is that Milk Esports has been doing a very good job of leveraging the little bitty advantages they have, not just in game, but also their skill level, right? They know that they're 13th sleep. They probably guesstimate that they're overall just sort of better players, and we're seeing that with their skill floor ceiling champions, right? We've got Bard, who, like, he doesn't seem like, to be uneducated, he doesn't seem like someone who has a high skill floor, but he really does. Because it would have been very easy for Bard to hit more than just the tower there in that one, but he went for just the tower and hit it right at a good timing. So his ult timings have been very, very good. He's used it both defensively and aggressively to great effect. And, Ezreal sitting there to capitalize on it. Galio capitalizing on every little bitty mistake and moment, catching that Vayne down in bot lane. And, it's like every one of these little bitty advantages, they turn into wins. And I really love to see it.
Indeed. Now we do have the next Drake on the map. I don't anticipate a contest. Sejuani is on the bot side, but this Corki is kind of strong. So not looking to go for that angle, I would imagine. He has the Trinity Force on hand. Ezreal also has the Trinity Force. Okay, that was actually a pretty well-done taunt.
Vayne is now down Condemn and takes a bunch of damage there from the trade there. Drake goes down in the background. Once again, another Drake going here to Milk Esports. Anari B maybe trying to threaten something out, but the Galio maybe sensing something, does decide to back off. Sejuani is floating around there, but I don't think Sejuani is going to be able to do too much here, maybe other than just take a couple of shots from Galio to the face. They do actually find an angle, and there is a universe where they are able to take them out, but it looks like it's not going to happen here as Maokai rotates just in time. I really like Yone going in, getting decent ult there on Corki, but look at Corki shredded him. Bard there to follow it up, getting the tower. Bard once again, Richard Yoon doing so great here on the rotation, showing how strong Bard can be, taking out Yone underneath tower without really any effort.
Somebody has been watching Lucio highlights based on what I'm seeing, because Richard has been all over the map. Just right place, right time, every single time. Let's go back to that failed dive from earlier that Galaxy Gaming tried to do. Richard ulted the tower, and it's like, well, the dive is over. They forced a 20 flash early, and then here on the top side, or I think it was that bot lane play from earlier where they killed Inori B, ulted just the tower, just a micrometer away from the tower, so that way Inori B was exposed and it ended up going down from there. And then right there, ulted the Yone snap back. Like, this dude has been absolutely crazy on this champion, and if this is his Bard, I can't imagine what any of these other picks he might have in the table.
Ooh, Ezreal finally getting in a little bit of danger there. He does have to blow his barrier, watching out there for their side. And it looks like Bard's already got Redemption there, popping it, giving a little bit more of HP in order for the Ezreal in order to continue to farm. And he goes for the plants, trying to sort of reset, not risking it. And I don't really blame him, because as soon as Vayne starts getting kills, she starts getting scary, and you really have to watch out for it. But Inari B has been constantly in sort of these bad positions, and I think it's kind of boiled down to Phantom Star leaving it. Inari B getting grabbed, having a pop. I believe that was a cleanse. It looks like it's Flash a cleanse, just barely able to get away. But something I've noticed is, like, Richard has had a lot of rotate, and I think Lulu's trying to out-rotate Bard, which you're just not going to do. And it's been costing Inari B. Phantom Star not close enough to her ADC in order to save her, and Ezreal really capitalized on that and able to get another kill, and the lead just slowly creeps forward. Bard ulting once again. Richard so far being the MVP. He's everywhere on the map, helping get kills over and over and helping get objectives, and indeed it's non-stop, and it's not stopping just quite yet.
We just kind of lost track for a hot second, and then they all rotated bot lane and got a kill onto Aj as well, and he just was not able to escape from that. I don't know what to say. This first tower going over, I mean, we didn't even talk about feats of strength, because that was pretty much a guarantee for them. Oh, that ultimate was a little awkward, but I think they get
looks like finally some sort of opportunity here for Galaxy as they're able to at least get one kill. Unfortunately, I don't think it was a shutdown. I think Galio had a shutdown, but at the very least that's some much needed gold, and it's on Rumble. That's not a bad choice. Would be nice if it's on Vayne, but Vayne is really struggling here. Look at Ezreal just still continuing to chunk the tower, even with Vayne here, just kind of ignoring her and going for the objective. There's going to be a TP going top, as it looks like we are going to set up and try and get Shelly, and Rumble's going to turn that into a little bit of pushing there on their side. And that's also something I wanted to mention is they need to stop Milk Esports from just getting this free objective for free objective. I appreciate the mindset where they're like, okay, you know, like they beat us in this last one, so we need to go back. I don't think he really needs to worry about it. Ooh, Richard maybe overstepping his welcome. Gonna run into Sejuani, but it looks like Maokai's there to follow it up just in time. Krakadon already getting ignited, taking a whole bunch of damage there from Ezreal, but just barely able to survive for that. And once again, another objective, Shelly, is now free for Milk Esports to grab.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much been the story of this game. I mean, actually, if I'm going to be honest, it's been the story of the series as well. Just Milk Esports just outplaying Galaxy at every corner, it seems. Like, the early game in Game 1 started out just fine, but then there was that massive mistake at the Otacon that pretty much arguably cost them the entire game. In this case, it's been a slow burn for Milk Esports from the jump, and they haven't stopped as we have the twist.
Maokai going in, but it looks like Rumble just able to get out just in time. Krakadon rotating, trying to keep up with his counterpart, but struggling a little bit there, which is kind of surprising to see because Krakadon had such a solid performance, and I like their positioning 9 times out of 10, but it looks like the Maokai's just been just a little bit better each time, a little bit faster too.
Yeah, definitely with you on that one. Woo! It's one of those things where we're kind of wondering, like, how does Galaxy Gaming come back into this one? Is that something we need to start looking at right now? We're 17 minutes in. We have objective bounties. We're getting this Drake, so that's a good start. That's an objective bounty, unless we have a full-on collapse, but there is no ultimate, so it should be just theirs. Oh, unless that Corki's gonna die. No,
Corky sort of threading the needle, but it looks like Galaxy is going to take their objective and leave. And once again, I don't blame them. They need to find some sort of these micro victories, and they need to wait. And this is probably a tall order. They need to wait for Milk Esports to make a mistake so they can capitalize on it. Milk Esports hasn't been making a whole bunch of them. It might come from Richard. Maybe Richard might be a little bit overconfident and get caught maybe here in jungle or in a couple other spots, but so far that's not happened because it looks like, there's only 2 deaths on the other side. I just realized it's 2 and 6 at 18.
Yeah. Slower game, I'll have to say. Oh, that is a Bard ult. Oh, there's 3 people there. Okay,
ooh, Richard finally missing his first ult. Rumble getting a pretty decent ult there. Zoning a whole bunch, dealing a good chunk of damage. Bard trying to go back in. Gonna get the stun there on Rumble. Rumble's got to watch out for it, but I'm not sure Rumble's going to get out. Rumble gets taken out there by the Maokai. Vayne finally rotating, but it looks like it's not going to happen there in time. Richard, despite missing an ult, was able to get some decent stuns and still, recover that a little bit with a stun. Followed into another stun there on Vayne.
So this kind of is going like how I said, where Vayne is a really beast or famine champion. We're seeing the famine. Unfortunately, Inori is 0-3, but we're out of position now.
Ooh, Inari B really trying to get a good condemn there on the Ezreal. Nice. Ezreal finally goes down. Vayne finally getting a shutdown. Is this Vayne going to come online? Getting kills on Vayne would be super great here. Unfortunately, Sejuani gets the other shutdown, but at the very least, that's some gold on Vayne. Corky going in. I'm not sure Vayne wants this fight. Look at them absolutely get shredded and chunked by Corky. This is why Corky is so scary. He just shreds people, and we saw it on the Vayne.
Yeah, thank you for those e-buffs, I guess, right, Games? Because now he does armor shred, so that's fun. But I think we ignore this tower and maybe we die here, actually. Oh, never mind.
Rumble actually getting taken down. I thought Rumble was going to get Richard. But no, he got destroyed.
Apparently, they're just better. So there's that. It's a 5,000 gold lead now with that opening. That was quite the cheek clencher, to put it modestly. So we now have Otacon spawning on the bot side of the map, which makes sense. There's been a lot of fighting down there. So, do we see an angle where Milk Esports decides to go for it? Maybe, at least in the next minute or two. Ezreal is almost on that completed Mara mana. Never mind, completed Mara mana. So, it was at 348 right before I said that. Now it's done. So, Ezreal has a massive power spike. So, there's a lot of power behind this Ezreal now. Lots of spamming that he's able to do. Do we catch out Richie here? I wouldn't think so, but they're looking like they're kind of posturing for him. But the problem is this Corky is in the area, and I do think they should just cut their losses, take the scuttle, and just leave. Oh, hello, that's a nice taunt. But Manui hasn't really been doing anything this whole game, and that's completely understandable. Just like I said, we'll leave the Galio alone. Like, we'll see you in 10-15 minutes, pal, and then from there, just they're creating pressure on other parts of the map, so they're feeling pretty good about where they are right now. Manui just kind of hopping in the backpack of this. Oh, wow, that is a lot of damage.
Ooh.
My God, he's dead.
Look at that. Corky just shredding, getting his 3rd kill without really a crazy amount of effort there on his side. He just zipped over the wall and absolutely chunked Rumble. And keep in mind, Rumble was doing pretty decent for his side. He's got literally half of all 4 of the kills here for Galaxy. And something I wanted to mention is it's not like Galaxy is a bad team. I think they're pretty solid. The difference is just like Milk is, weirdly enough to say, even more solid. There's going to be the Zona going for the Corky. This might finally be some damage. Did they allow the Vayne to get it? Let's find out here in a second, waiting for the little pop-up. Yes, Vayne did get it. That's going to be another shutdown on her side, and that might be the win con. I wanted to segue this into what is the win con for Galaxy Gaming, and I could definitely see it being Vayne. We've seen Vayne just looking for that angle in order to pop off, looking for that angle in order to make something happen, and they've been getting so close to letting it happen, but it's been a real struggle, and I think a lot of it has to do with the positioning of the Lulu. I would have liked to see Lulu more with the Vayne, but it's definitely been hard. Richard getting another stun there on Yone. Yone trying to stay alive, popping his ult, trying to go for Richard. Richard going for Predator play, going to get shut down there by Sejuani. Going to try to turn that into an Ezreal, but Ezreal was only polymorph for so long and is still really powerful there on his end. Now Inari B left to his own devices, stuck up top, no support in order to help them out as he gets picked off, taken down, and destroyed in top lane.
What are we
they did force the ult there on Vayne, so that's at least a bunch more resources than I expected them to spend there on the Vayne. I thought that was pretty much an easy kill.
Yeah,
but they see 2 top. This is good for Galaxy. They're going to turn this into an autocon. This is exactly what they need to do. Yes, they lost the Vayne. That sucks. But there's 2 top, so take an objective. And indeed, they did get it.
And that's what I was saying. If we know where the jungler is, then we should do autocon. They saw where the Maokai was. It's like, all right, well, let's just full send it onto there. And that makes a lot of sense. That whole thing started, though, because the Nori B was overextended up in that top side of the map. Ended up just being slightly too far forward, but that opened up the autocon for the rest of the team, and I think that's absolutely what they needed. That's a massive injection of adaptive force and experience as well to keep them into this game. So as we can see, it's level 13s for both the AD carries, but they do most likely lose the Drake in response. It looks like they are going to lose the Drake in response. As a matter of fact, we have Lulu going up to that top side, and Richard doing bard things and just being blatantly annoying because he can. But this is Ocean Soul Point for the side of Milk Esports. They are going to be feeling really good about that. There's still 5,000 gold ahead. In reality, okay, we're doing bard things. In reality, with the Autocon, it shrinks into like 3-ish. It's like Autocon's kind of like a weird unspoken gold stat thing. So I do believe Captain Flower said it best, where it's like once you secure Autocon, it's like 1,800 gold, 1,800 to 2,000 gold in terms of like adaptive force. So the gold lead is a little deceptive now, especially since they caught up in a little bit of XP in adaptive force.
Mm-hmm. And Vayne is keeping up at least with CS, despite her having 5 deaths, which I think is a decent testament to sort of like their farm mentality. And I do really want to compliment the change in mentality here for Galaxy Esports, right? The previous game, they maybe kept going too far over and over, and they tried to go for objectives that like they just were not going to get. And we're seeing an opposite of that. We're seeing them like reframe, reset up, and go, okay, we died a lot because we went for these objectives that showed up over and over, and we just tried to force them. We tried to force the objectives, and it just didn't work. And right now, they're very calculated in giving up the objectives. And sure, it might suck, but I think there is an avenue where they can turn this around, and they can do quite well.
Mm-hmm. Definitely agree with you on that one. So as of right now, Baron is really the only objective that's like going to be on the map, but there's really no team is seen to take the... Oh my god, he's becoming an award.
Richard finally overstaying his welcome, but he's going to use plenty of escapability. Vayne may be able to get another kill here. No, it actually goes to Yone. Baron now up on the map, number advantage in Galaxy's side, but I think Baron at this point is still going to be a tall order to go for. It's not quite as bad as Autocon, but it is the previous Autocon, I would say, in terms of taking additional damage.
We learned from game 1, that is what I will say. We learned that we need to make sure where everyone is before we do Autocon. So I respect Galaxy Gaming for that one. But we're at a point where Ezreal is about to have a Spear of Shojin here in a moment. So in a little bit of time, this Ezreal is going to be very obnoxious to deal with. I think Richard dying there is not that big of a deal, if I'm being completely honest. Yes, it's a kill over to the Yone as well. It gives him a little bit of extra gold for himself, working towards what I assume is going to be Infinity Edge 3rd. From there, the game is starting to slow down, really, in reality. The game is starting to slow down a little bit. And this is what and funny enough, this is what you wanted in game 1. You wanted to see if Galaxy could play from behind, and I think we're getting a pretty nice... We're 1v1ing right now. Oh, we sort of almost lost that 1v1, but we do have healing, so Vayne's going to be just fine. But this is what you wanted to see. You wanted to see them play from behind, and I think they're doing that to the best of their ability right now. I say right now because, the game is still still ongoing. They're still 4,000 gold down, so it's very possible that things could get out of control. They just summoned the Rift Herald mid. I assumed the timer was getting ready to run out, which is why they went for it. We're setting up a death rush. Oh, and we do it
Richard
again.
Getting caught out right before Nasher. Richard overstaying his welcome. That's a third death. He's had multiple deaths right there over and over. Shelly trying to go for that, but it looks like they're not going to get it. Shirelia's was used there on Lulu. I think the more this game goes on, I think more Lulu is going to be able to stick around with the Vayne, which will increase Vayne's survivability exponentially. And now Nasher's on the table, but I still think this is a tall order to go for. If I was Galaxy Gaming at this point, I'd be trying to bait this out. As soon as I see some sort of angle to go on anyone, I'm going to do it. But it looks like Maokai's going to take the advantage and take the initiative as he locks them down under Nasher. Nasher is for free in order to grab here, and it looks like Sejuani does manage to outsmite the Maokai, and Maokai gets taken down. Is this Galaxy Gaming's return? They get the objective, immediately back off. That's 2 kills. They got Richard, they got Maokai, and of course, they got Nasher, and they might have this game in the bag. Look at the gold now.
Indeed. 1,000. Much better. Much better so far compared to game 1. They slowed the game down and started playing at their tempo, which is what they needed to do from the jump in this game. And they finally got that going on. We're 2 kills apart now. They didn't let the game get super out of control like they did in game 1. I usually like to meme and say that game 1 is like the download game. It's like we need to figure out how they play, and then game 2 we kind of just do whatever. And so far, from based on what I'm seeing, I think they recognize what you were saying. Is like, hey, we see these little micro things that Milk Esports likes to do. So what we need to do is, bring them to our tempo, make them play at our pace. The problem with that is that they are staring down the barrel of an Ocean Soul in 30 seconds. So if things are
they do have the gold to fight it though at this point.
They do, yes. My only thing is there's still really good pick potential, I would say, because I think the Sejuani Ultimate's up. Okay, so Sejuani Ultimate is up. If Milk Esports can do what they've been doing pretty much the entirety of this game, which is like setting up fights like way in advance and poking and prodding, which that's what their comp is good at, is poking and prodding, because they have Ezreal, they have Corki as well. So all they have to do is kind of just poke away at some of these health bars, and then this should be in favor of them, but they might just give this up, to be honest with you. They're not going to give this up. Okay, so we're in for a fight, so good luck.
Ooh, I don't like this split over here by Milk Esports. However, Sejuani goes back, Rakadon trying to find an angle, Rumble trying to back everyone off. Maokai finally blowing his ult, unfortunately turns into another, but they did get a Nori B. A Nori B's isolated, taken down, and destroyed the Vayne, falling apart, the team falling apart. Galaxy really struggling here to come back from this one. They're separated. Their positioning just wasn't good enough. Milk Esports smelled something in the water, and it was the blood of the other side. Yone able to get a kill there on Richard, actually dealing a decent amount of damage there too. The Ezreal, the fight is still ongoing. It can still go either way, but this Ezreal does so much damage. It's not over just quite. Yone almost turned it around. There's a triple kill for Leviathan, or Levitate, sorry.
It was a misstep from Nori B is what put that fight in Milk Esports' favor. They're going to lose this fight. They're going to lose the soul as well. Barrett is now off as well. And this puts, I think, Milk Esports right back in the driver's seat. So good on them for recognizing the misstep from Nori B and immediately collapsing onto him. It's just so unlucky that it had to be at that moment, because we were just hyping up like Galaxy Gaming have got this in the bag. If they keep playing the way that they are, they're going to be able to take this game. But now they're down in Ocean Soul, which is an additional maybe like 2k gold. So with this being 3,000, the game is now more in favor of Milk Esports.
Well, and something I think was really important to cue out there is, so Galaxy Gaming was in a really good position, and they were doing that so well, but it came down to 2 tiny mistakes. For starters, they split their party, right? That's something you never do. Like I literally DM D&D, and you never split the party, and I think it's the same there when you're going for objectives here in League of Legends. They had 2 go to the other side of Drake, and the other 3 win it, so I feel like that was a little bit of a comms issue. They should have coordinated everybody on me, or everybody sack on this person, or go this direction. They should have done something in order to stop that split. And when that split happened, it ended up putting an REB in this sort of awkward position. They're like, oh, where do I need to be? And like they saw that, and they capitalized on that. And Richard Yoon was just waiting for that opportunity. As soon as he saw it, he took it, isolated it. Galio followed it up. So much synergy on Milk Esports. They knew knew what was happening. I don't even think they had to communicate that. They just, all of the pieces lined up and they were ready for it, and they capitalized on it as soon as they could. Ooh, we are getting Krakodon going in on the Galio, but Galio is a tall order in order to take out then, as they waste an ultimate, and now they're on their retreat there. It looks like Richard's going to lock down the Yone. Being a major threat there on that side. They're absolutely separated. Rumble getting a pretty decent ult. They're doing a good chunk of damage there on Corky. Corky getting shredded there in turn. This could still go either way. Vayne might finally be able to pop off, going for kills, trying to go for Richard. Richard just barely able to escape, but no, not from the Rumble. Rumble does get a kill. Galaxy Sports, or Galaxy Gaming, showing that they're still in this. Galio escaping with his ult, but that's going to be one resource down, and they're going to turn that into objective. They're going to turn that into a T1 and hopefully a T2, and Nari B finally has some decent amount of gold there, and we can see them. They have that pop-off potential, and we're getting ready to see that, I think. I hope so too, but it looks like that the Corky just got exploded before that could even really get started. Just absolutely got annihilated. And I thought the Ocean Soul was going to do a lot more work, but it is only 2 oceans, so they weren't able to get that much sustain off that fight. And really good props to Nori B for cleaning up that mistake from earlier. Absolutely just was walking all over them in that fight. Also the Yone ultimate as well from Aj. Two-man Yone ultimate, and just absolutely nearly knocks Levitate out of the fight. Did have to flash as well. So this game is, we're definitely in for a fun back and forth game. We have the next Baron up in 36 seconds, so that I think will determine how the rest of this game is going to go, because we're 3 minutes from Elder, and I'm kind of nervous for Galaxy right now. I mean, they're still doing really well, I think, in the second game, but the thing is it's just one misstep. One misstep is what sent them to the lower bracket. And that's kind of what you expect to see. The higher and higher you get up the tier list, the higher and higher you get with these players with these skill levels. Is it's just a couple of small mistakes here and there that really change the game, and very much so we're seeing that over and over and over. And Galaxy Gaming does have an opportunity. I do agree with you. It's still uphill, and Milk is still really, really frightening. But I think Milk has done something really good here. Is whether subconsciously or consciously, they've identified that Aj is a threat, especially after that fight over by Autocon. They identified how scary Aj can be, and they've tried to go for him each time. They're clearly singling out either Aj or a Nori B and trying to turn that into victories. I think going for Vayne might be a little bit better, but you can't ignore Aj. Sitting at 14-17 on the clock right now. Not sure if my co-host had to step away or what that is, but so far I'm hearing his mic there.
While I was blowing my nose, and that's what happened.
There we go. Sorry about that. I had the awkward silence, and I was like, is he going to say something? Okay, we're going to keep going. Either way, though, Ezreal just sort of having these free ults, throwing it. Look at it. He's already blown it, and look how quickly it's ticking down. It's pretty close to, right where Lux gets with her ult in the late game. Nasher's on the table, and it looks like the positioning's not real great here for Galaxy. Look at it. It's already down to half HP. Sejuani really hasn't noticed it. They don't have any wards. They don't have any vision. We are getting a TP, so they know that something's up. Will it be enough time? Sejuani is just barely out of smite range, unfortunately, and Maokai's going to get it. That is going to be it. There's going to be a pretty decent ult. Corky getting knocked down, getting condemned into the wall. We got to try to get a Galio ult in there, but unfortunately it misses absolutely everything. I think Galaxy got what they needed. Maybe they need to back out here. They're taking a whole bunch of damage. Phantom Star having to block out. Nari B by themselves. They need to get some support here from their support. They do have a good amount of HP, but maybe they're threading that needle. Aj sitting about half HP is in a good position here to fight this, but this Ezreal, look, is at full HP as well, so he's going to be hard to deal with as well as Galio. Galaxy Gaming seen correctly, they're going to back out. They weren't able to get the Baron, but at the very least, they were able to get a kill on Corky, and I think Vayne got that kill too.
Yeah, I believe so. So I was a little nervous, I'm not going to lie, during that 50-50. But I'm glad that not everyone died, because I think if everyone dies, we're barreling it down mid-inning in the game. Now, the downside is we have an Elder up in 30 seconds. Corky does have TP, so we'll be able to join. We are at that point, though, where they are running out of damage, I would say, on the side of Milk. Not, like, let me preface this by saying there's really no... Oh, never mind. That's a full EP Maokai. Just kidding. Okay. That would explain why he keeps getting blown up instantly. Goes to show that I've been so locked in on this Vayne that I didn't even think about looking at what Maokai's build was, but that makes a lot of sense now why he keeps getting blown up. But this is going to, are we too far forward? We might be. Hold on, we do have ultimates available.
We are getting the numbers advantage. This will be a good opportunity for Sejuani to go and look at that Yone ult. Maokai absolutely missing everything there in the back line. There's going to be the Zhonya's there for Galio, but the real target is definitely going to be this Corki. Corki down to about half HP. There's another shutdown. Look at this Vayne popping up. She's absolutely melting the Galio. That's a triple kill. Is she going to get the Quadra? She's definitely going to try for it for sure. And there it is. She gets the Quadra. Vayne, you cannot ignore her, and they ignored her and got taken down. The positioning being much better there on Galaxy Esports. They baited it out. That was a masterclass in bait, and they succeeded.
Absolutely insane from Minori in that final fight. Maybe final fight? It should be. Oh, I guess they're just going to get Elder instead. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So the game's not done yet, but they do get Elder. We did that thing where we get Elder, or Baron, and we get Aced. So, Alamau on that one. I guess that's the theme for this game. Get Baron, get Aced. So, this opens up the Elder Dragon for them. There's absolutely no contest. No one will be here, but the game continues on. I was ready to say this game is over, but this game continues on. Aj, even though has been sitting at 3 and 5, has been playing very well on this Yone, just getting those crucial ultimates onto multiple members, forcing out Levitation from the fight. Yeah. And it's been so good coming into this game. So this secures the Elder Drake for them. The gold is now in favor of, well, gold kind of doesn't really matter at this point in the game, but the gold is pretty heavily in favor right now of Galaxy Gaming, so they're feeling pretty good about where they are right now.
And taking a look at the ult, it looks like everybody has their ult up and ready to go. So as soon as someone makes one micro step, right, we're 37 minutes into the game, which means you're going to have quite the gray screen in order to deal with. If one person gets caught on either side, if one person is in just sort of this slightly suboptimal positioning, they're going to get taken down. And I was going to say before that fight popped up, I feel like Galaxy Gaming hasn't had as good positioning, but they kind of used that to their advantage. Whether it was intentional or not, they kind of lulled Milk into this sort of false sense of security. They're like, okay, we just need to wait for them to be out of position. And they're like, oh, we found it. They're out of position. But Yone ulted into the jungle. Lulu had a pretty decent rotate. Krakadon might actually be out of position here, but they really capitalize on that, and either Milk Esports set them up for a trap, or that was a conscious effort for Galaxy in order to set up that bait.
I don't really feel like we should be going into them, like, at all. At least for the next, like, minute and a half or so. It's going to be very hard to fight this, because, like, even with Ocean Soul, yeah, like, there's that. Vayne can kind of just do whatever she wants. That's a full build Vayne, by the way, and that's not dealing very much damage anymore, so the True Shot Barrage not doing as much as we would hope it to be. But with that, I mean, there's really no waves here for them, so this Elder is not like useless, but like it's a good deterrence, but it's not really gonna do anything. I don't think it'll really be game ending. There's way too much wave clear on the side of Milk right now, and the fact that we're still in this game is still wild to me. This is a very close game. One fight will end this game, and it's going to have to come from a misstep from one of these teams, and it could literally be anyone. Anyone missteps, and I think the game is just over. But we're finally 39 minutes, 5,000 gold lead in favor of Galaxy Gaming right now. They're kind of just looking to like salvage these tier 2s. And what's interesting, actually, is we were talking about how hard like Richard has been roaming around the map, being there when needed to be, and nope, we're fighting. Hold that thought.
Ooh, okay. Galio already going down to about half HP. Yone having a pretty decent ult there, followed into an ult there by Maokai. There's the instant rotation there by Rumble. Rumble looking for an angle to pop his ult down, trying to find an angle. There it is. Anari B getting grabbed, getting taunted. Once again, we've seen this combination over and over. Vayne going down, Vayne getting taken out. Anymore. Rumble trying to turn it around, but it's not going to happen. This might spell the doom for Galaxy Gaming as 3 go down on their side, including Anari B. You mentioned it before. I mentioned it before. One misstep is all it takes, and then instant gray screen with a massive timer, and we're seeing that.
Oh man, and of course it's Richard who does it again. Aj probably dies here. There's not much you can do. Should just snap back and then just take the L and die here. Oh, actually it took a lot harder to die, but that ends up being a delayed 4 for nothing. This is gonna be the end of the game, and that's so unlucky, but at the same time, this guy's Bard has been insane. So at the cost of just overstepping once again, Galaxy Gaming, okay, let's end the game, guys. Galaxy Gaming unfortunately falls in this series, and they find themselves in the lower bracket, which those games are tomorrow, as we're going for the ace and ending this game.
And that's a 2-0 victory for Milk Esports. But don't give it up on the home team. Galaxy Gaming will be back in the next game, which should be tomorrow. I got to look at winning specifically the losers bracket is, but I'm 90% positive it is tomorrow. I think I'll let DBZ yap here for a second while I look it up and make sure.